So, quite frankly,
What the?
That's how our system operates. So I ain't playing any stupid game where Mehdi's gonna make an argument about what amendment.
Okay, he actually doesn't know about about America. He doesn't know about the Of course he doesn't. He doesn't care about it. He doesn't like it. Okay. Should we watch the Mehdi Hasan thing? Is it time? Might be time. The moment you've all been waiting for. 5 billion views. Wow.
family lineage of settlers from the 1500s.
Colonialists.
Yeah,
you
colonials.
don't look
yeah.
very Native American to me.
I am Native American. Whites
not.
are Native Americans. What are
Sorry.
you talking about? What are you talking about?
You're a little bit more than a far-right Republican.
Hey, what can I say?
I think you say I'm a fascist.
Yeah, I am.
Listen to me. I am an immigrant. I'm speaking from personal experience.
Get the hell out.
I don't even like... I should get the hell out.
Yes.
Why? I don't want you here. I'm Mehdi Hasan. I'm a journalist. I'm the editor of Zeteo. And today I'm surrounded by 20 far-right conservatives.
Where did they find... Were they deliberately looking for the craziest right-wingers to put them up against Mehdi Hasan? Okay.
My first claim is Donald Trump is
Or is this just what they're like now? Is this the Overton window? Maybe that's it.
pro-crime and pro-criminal. Welcome.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'm Mehdi.
I would just like to ask, what makes someone pro-crime versus, anti-crime?
I think when you're soft on criminals, when you let criminals out of prison, when you pardon people who've assaulted police officers, you're pro-criminal. Donald Trump pardoned almost 1,600 people who were involved in January the 6th. I think 600 of them had been charged with assaulting a police officer or obstructing a police officer. 170 had pled guilty to assaulting a police officer. 70 had pled guilty to assault with a deadly weapon. J.D. Vance said, we're not going to pardon the violent criminals from January 6th. Donald Trump pardoned all of them. Are you okay with that?
I would say January 6th is a very special case. I would say it's almost a climax point in history. I would just phrase the question this way. Right now in the LA protests, if they were to, just for example, they were to rush the capital of LA, I mean, they'd have to move over all the homeless people living in tents on the steps of the Capitol. But if they were managed to get into the Capitol and they were just protesting, peacefully, let's say police officers were rushing them in. They were letting them in and saying, hey, you guys can go in.
Oh yeah, let's say it was like the completely fantasy version of January 6th that I got fed by Tucker Carlson, and I've never actually watched any footage of anything that actually happened on that day, even though it's one of the most filmed, documented events, singular confrontations in the entirety of human history. Okay. Yes, let's say they were all just ushered in peacefully, and that broken glass and the battered police officers and the big fights, that's all just, nothing to see there. It's just a bit of tussling.
We have many testimonies that say.
What about the violent ones, though?
Okay, violent ones like...
Like a man named David Dempsey, a judge, a Reagan-appointed judge, sentenced to 20 years in prison. He stomped on police officers' heads. The judge said his conduct was exceptionally egregious. He attacked police officers with flagpoles and pepper spray. Donald Trump pardoned him. There's a man named Daniel Rodriguez. He got 12 years in prison for taking a stun gun and tasing a police officer in the neck and giving him a heart attack. The judge said he was a one-man army of hate. Donald Trump pardoned him. Does that not make Trump pro-criminal? Is any violent criminals out of prison?
I would say no, it doesn't make him pro-criminal.
You're okay with that?
I did not say that. I said that one pardon against somebody.
It was 1,600 pardons. 600 of those were
one example.
You named one, so there must only be one. They're like children, man. They're like, like those Piaget experiments where you put a little fucking coin in front of a kid and then you put it under a cup and you have another cup that's got nothing under it and then tell them to just like find the coin and they'll pick up the cup that's got nothing underneath it because they've forgotten that the first thing exists. Hell.
Save me.
I can give you more.
Okay,
keep going.
Fine. I'll say the exact same thing every single time.
It ceases to exist as soon as it's gone out of my eyesight. Like it's only one. One pardon, one violent criminal. Yes, January 6th, the guided tour where one guy lost his and somehow managed to get the better of a police officer and stomp on his head. You stupid
fall apart.
Dribbling, posh, silver spoon, fanny. Jesus Christ.
Make him pro-criminal.
You're okay with that?
I did not say that. I said that one pardon against somebody.
It was 1,600 pardons. 600 of those were people charged
one
with...
example that you just gave me.
I can give you more.
Okay,
keep going.
Fine. I'll say the exact same thing every single time.
Then your argument will fall apart because it's not just one example.
If you name 3 examples, because you're only listing one at a time, I'll just keep saying that's just one example. This guy has got elite education. Okay, this is America. This is like, where is it? There's people in Connecticut who go to these like really fancy schools, and you have to pay like $14 billion a year per month for when they're, you have to pay like $14 billion a year when they're 5 years old for their, I don't know, for their elitist spoon techniques when they're eating their breakfast cereal.
going?
Go for it then.
Okay, Shane Jenkins got 7 years in prison for 9 criminal offenses, attacking police with a deadly weapon, destroying government property.
How do
Trump pardoned
pardons
him.
that probably shouldn't have happened turn into pro-crime?
So you've agreed that they shouldn't have been pardoned?
Sure, but that wasn't your claim. Was January 6th? Your claim was Trump is pro-crime.
Yes, because he pardons criminals.
Okay, I
He
would say
pardoned
that's a fault.
Let's talk about non-January 6 people.
Okay.
He's pardoned people like Paul Walshak recently, who took millions of dollars from his own employees, was sentenced to tax crimes, had to pay back $4 million. Trump pardoned him. He bought himself a $2 million yacht. Why is he pardoning criminals like that?
Well, I don't know. I don't think you should. I don't think really presidential pardon should be a thing at all. But I
agree.
don't think that.
All right, pause.
That means something.
You've been voted out by
Okay.
the majority. Please return to your seat.
Thanks.
How's it going?
Hey, how's it going, Mehdi?
What is it?
Mehdi.
You're from northern UK, I guess?
I'm from London, North London.
Okay, fair enough. What's your ethnic background, if you don't mind my asking?
My parents are from India.
Okay, perfect. Just getting premise here. First of all, I want to say
Premise of Donald Trump being pro-crime.
No. I want to concern myself with why you care about what's happening in the U.S. first and foremost. Secondly, I want to say this: with the argument,
He lives in the U.S., doesn't he? Isn't he? He lives in the United States. What?
the US not care about?
Let's not interrupt each other. Because I have this thing, like people know, I have this thing. I have to stay calm. Okay, so here's the thing: I am happy that he released J6. In fact, so much so that I was prepared to protest if he didn't. So when you say, are you okay that he's pro-crime? Sure, because you know what? We're changing the definition of what crime is. First and
You don't
foremost.
think stomping on police officers' heads is a crime?
I don't think it's no longer a relevant conversation anymore. You're arguing. No, it's not, because you know what? Okay, have you seen the U.S. in the last 4 or 5 years?
Yes, I've
BLM
lived
protests.
there
Have
for a
you seen? Okay, I myself have been involved in these protests. I've seen egregious things that you couldn't even imagine.
So we have
Being
no
done to
rules then?
conservatives. It's not about that. It's about tribal warfare. That's where we're at in the U.S. I don't know where you're at in the UK. You're from India, so I don't really.
I'm not from India.
Oh, sorry, your parents are from India, so
I'm an American
you have your
citizen.
own stakes.
I'm an American, you know.
You're an American citizen. Okay,
Yes.
fair enough. I don't know how you got that, but fair enough. Here's the
I
thing.
don't know how you
Absolutely.
got that. What? Okay. I believe it's quite difficult to become an American citizen, so I feel like Mehdi would have done his due diligence to become a boy in blue, but okay.
But here's the
Not
thing.
sure how you got that. Okay.
Born here.
Okay.
Born here, and my family lineage is settlers from the 1500s, so I have some stake in the claim here. Okay.
But you're
a little different.
But you're a
than yours.
descendant of immigrants. Settlers.
A little
Colonials.
different from yours.
Yeah,
You don't
colonials.
look
Yeah.
very Native American to me.
I am Native American. Whites
not.
are Native Americans. What are you
Sorry,
talking about?
you're not.
What are you talking about?
You're
Whites
not.
are Native Americans.
Really?
I think
What was
you're-
happening before the 1500s?
I think you're getting confused with it.
I don't mind going on a tangent, but what was happening before the 1500s?
Calm down. I think you're getting.
What was happening before the 1500s?
There was indigenous people here that came here
Do
from
you know what
Asia.
indigenous means?
Listen, before
Indigenous
America,
people
Let-
can't
you
come
let me
from somewhere
finish.
else.
Why do you ask a question if you're going to interrupt?
I'm not sure if you know what the meaning of indigenous means.
I do know what it means. It
Doesn't
means
sound
they
like
came
it.
here first, right? They came here from Asia by way of land bridge. Have an argument with Neil deGrasse Tyson or anybody else about that. I don't care.
Is he an
I
American?
genuinely don't care. Yes, he is.
just
So
checking.
my point is,
Oh.
okay?
Nothing to do with crime. So far, you've agreed with me that these
Because
people
you're
are criminals.
derailing, dude. I'm trying
You
to stay
literally
on track.
sat down and asked me where I'm from. I think you derailed
think
the
you-
topic.
With the contemporary fascists, I don't know what happened over the last 5 or 10 years, but suddenly contemporary fascists have made this kind of like they've built this bridge with African America. It's very strange. I feel like 5-10 years ago, when you asked a fascist about if black people were American, they would often say no, because they're recent arrivals. They were taken against their will. They didn't even want to go to America. It's just like, they would say shit like that, right? There seems to be a bit of a shift.
got
From the
offended by
get-go.
that, but I'm
I'm not
always
offended. I'm
curious-
just wondering what it has to do with
I'm
crime.
always curious.
We're going to talk about
why-
immigration. Don't worry. Later on, you can come back.
I hope so.
Right now, you're doing a very bad job of making a case that he's not pro-crime.
I just got a round of applause. I could probably get another one actually if I asked for it.
Wow.
So I don't think
A round of applause, and you're surrounded by people who are far right conservatives. They're on your side, you idiot. What?
This is how you get rounds of applause. You sit in a room with 20 people who agree with you. Wow, amazing. Amazing. That
Well,
must
wait
make you
till
feel
this
good.
goes out. You know what? I'm
20
actually
people
glad
agree
you're
with
getting
you,
this
applauded you.
emotionally outraged right
Wow.
now. This is great.
I love it.
Do I have to say anything at this point, or are you
Please.
just going to keep going?
Please.
Okay.
Make your claim.
Well, my claim is that I don't care if it's pro-crime. You
Okay,
want to go back to the
so-
topic
so-
of
so
conversation?
that's fine, we agree then. He's pro-crime,
But
you
I
don't
have a
care.
question for you though. Do you care on the opposite side of the spectrum?
Yes.
Do you care about law being administered
Yes.
to the opposite side of the
Yes. I
spectrum?
think anyone who assaults a police officer shouldn't be pardoned. I think that Donald Trump shouldn't have pardoned 9 Republican members of Congress who were convicted of crime, and I don't think Joe Biden should commit. I don't think Democrats should pardon Democrats.
Fair, but I don't
We
think
both
you
agree.
understand where we are in the U.S. I
think I do.
No, because
The
you're
bridge is evangelical Christianity and Christian nationalism, also the always unifying ideology of anti-Semitism. I don't think that's the case. No, I don't think because African Americans, for the most part, have nothing to do with far right. Like, they mostly still vote Democrat. They're mostly still left, despite being more socially conservative than the average Democrat. I think it's more just that they coalesce around anti-immigration. That they've kind of united their, like, the days of like the Richard Spencer alt-right shit, I guess because maybe that failed so miserably that the modern right, like the contemporary right-wing racism is about, xenophobia more than traditional like race realism or whatever. They're not really skull measuring anymore. They're just being like, how'd you get here? What are you doing here, son?
arguments for the position of like a U.S. that doesn't exist anymore. We're headed towards
So nihilism, no laws, nothing matters.
It's not about
Everyone's pro-crime.
It's not about that. It's that
That's
conservatives.
convenient.
Conservatives for too long have been playing it safe. They've been playing by the law.
Really?
They've been playing,
They've been playing by the law?
Yes, they have.
Maybe you missed the Bush
Finish.
nor did Ronald Reagan.
Let's be respectful to you. Let me
I'm
finish.
not sure you've been that respectful, but okay.
I'm trying to bring it back, so let's both bring it back.
That's
Okay.
good.
I'm conservative. Okay.
Really?
Let me tell you this. We do play it too safe. We've been playing it by the book for too long. At this point, gloves are off. Right? The left has made their point. They're willing
Are
to
the
do.
police force in Washington the left?
Yes.
Why
Are you kidding me? The left? Are you?
police officers?
Yeah.
Okay, look at LA right here. Do you think those stand down? Those stand
You
down.
think the LAPD are a bunch of liberal Marxists?
No, but I
Really?
think they listen to liberal Marxists who tell them what to do. I think they listen to who signs their paychecks at the
Can
end
I
of the
just
day.
check, because you're doing lots of little diversions. We both agree Donald Trump's pro-crime, you're just fine with it.
No,
Is
I
that the position?
don't
That's what you
agree
said
with
so
your-
far
I
for
don't
about
agree with
5
your
minutes.
I don't agree with your definition
What's
of
your
crime.
definition of crime?
It doesn't
Stomping
matter.
on a police officer's head is not a crime. That's
No,
your
what I'm
definition of
saying-
crime, as the
He keeps
Native
getting
American.
I am Native American.
If you
Okay,
say
so. Going back to the topic at hand, we have different definitions of crime because you're
That's
talking
convenient.
about.
There's a
It's not
criminal
about-
code
it's
in
not
this
about
country.
what's
It's called the
convenient.
US Criminal Code.
You know what? Let's focus
That's
on
what
what we
everyone
agree on.
focuses
I'm
on.
sure you and I actually agree on a lot
Do we
more
agree
than
that
we
people shouldn't stomp on police officers' heads? Can we agree on that? If
I'm
you don't
not-
agree on that, then I really think this conversation is kind of
No,
pointless.
because first of all, you're saying what? That the police have the authority, that they're given the authority. I don't accept the authority that's been
It's a
given by
very
liberal
conservative
Mark
position.
I-
Probably conservative or pro-police.
Then you don't know what a real. Hey, listen, you're
we
in a room
redefine
with
crime.
juggernauts
Do you
right
need
now.
to have authority to not get your head stomped on? Huh.
Okay? I'm telling you right now, you are going to be blown open if you think that my
if we're going to
position
struggle
is
with the
right,
English
you
language
have
for the
no
next couple
idea
hours, then
what
yeah,
you're
we'll
up against right now, okay?
100%.
Yeah. Newsflash, the conservatives are liberal to me.
Sometimes breaking the law is good. Nat Turner, Haitian Revolution, October the 7th. I feel like you are such a schizophrenic. Like, fuck. Like, any other day you would say, oh, October 7th is actually legal right to resistance. So it's glad that you at least admit that it's not about that. Yeah, okay. October 7th, how's that going? Because as far as Hamas goes, Al-Aqsa flood is still raging on. You know, it's not over. That's why they're still fighting. Seems to be going great. It's fucking disgraceful. Jesus Christ.
Okay? Neocons, libertarians, all those mainstream people, there might as well be leftists to me, okay? That's how far to the right I am. Do you understand my position? So when
I
you
kinda
say,
guessed it when you sat
say about
Oh, but at least we killed some Israelis.
obeying police, why would I give the authority to police? Do you know you're in America?
Do you think Donald Trump should be part
We've
of
grown Hassan Piker's Twitch channel. Okay.
9 members of Congress
you
who
know
committed
who-
financial crimes? Are
let me
you
see if I can remember
pro
his name right, because
financial
it's so-
crime?
do you
Pro
know
financial
All
crime?
right, pause.
I
Pause.
think the people who clapped you voted you out.
All right, head back to your seat. You've been voted out by the
Thanks for the
majority.
1999.
Nice to meet you. Hello, sir. How are you?
Hey, so I'm going to be as respectful about this as possible, but the truth is your claim is completely bad faith. You do not care about being anti-crime. You yourself are pro-crime. Your side is pro-crime because you're a progressive.
How am I pro-crime?
So I'll give you an example, right? So your side, not Donald Trump, has passed a series of laws in California. Let's go to California. It's where we are right now. It's where I'm from. I don't know. Are you from California?
No.
Or, okay. So in California, for example, the state legislature, completely progressive, just passed a law that limits sex offender registration to 10 years. It was life before. That's pro-crime.
How is it pro-crime if you've changed the law? That's like the opposite of pro-crime. If you legalize like marijuana, that's not pro-crime. What? Tier-based sex offender registry. Those who commit misdemeanors have to register for a minimum of 10 years, while those who commit more serious sex crimes have to register for 20 years to life. What? So the minimum on the register used to be higher? What's wrong with it's just a minimum, bro. If someone's reformed and they're not a threat anymore, there's no need to have them on a register. Why would you keep them on the register? How is this pro-crime? What the fuck?
The legislature in California, which is progressives again, has passed a law that says the voter-induced three-strike law is no longer absolute. If someone murders someone, stabs someone on 3 separate occasions, a judge now does not have to give them life. That's a progressive law. That is not. That is pro-crime. You support.
Change the state's 3-strike rule so the mandatory 25 to life sentence was only imposed on serious or violent offenders. It's only imposed. So a serious stabbing would be a serious or violent offense. Okay. In 2021, the legislature ordered a mandatory resentencing for those with certain enhanced sentences. Okay.
Someone stabs someone on 3 separate occasions. A judge now does not have to give them life. That's a progressive law. That is not. That is pro-crime. You support that, don't you?
So pro-crime is, so if you believe that certain crimes should entail a 20-year sentence instead of a 31, are you pro-crime all of a sudden? What a fucking brain-dead objection. When we're comparing it to someone who pardoned unilaterally violent criminals, some of whom got a lot less than 25 years.
Support sex offenders coming off a list. I think they should be on for life.
Okay, so you
Most of them were in jail for less than 25 years. Oh, God.
So hold on. You and I both agree that sex offending is a bad thing, especially child sex offending, right?
It seems like you and I agree on that.
I
The
agree on
legislature
that.
of California doesn't.
So I'm not here to debate the legislature of California. I'm here to debate
You're
Donald
progressive.
Trump being pro-crime.
But
And
you're
I'm saying that Donald Trump was friends with Ghislaine Maxwell. When Ghislaine Maxwell, who's the worst child sex trafficker of our lifetime, she's serving a 20. Do you know Ghislaine Maxwell?
Yeah, she's actually not. Jeffrey Epstein's the worst.
He's dead. I'm talking about people alive right now.
It's interesting though you didn't use his name, right? Wouldn't he be the one who did this?
Epstein was Trump's friend as well. Why would you go to Epstein? What? Okay.
Oh, great. I'm glad you brought up Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein, before he died, did an interview with Michael Wolff. He's on tape. I don't know if you heard the tape. He says, my closest friend was Donald Trump. I was his closest friend. Elon Musk, I'm not sure if you've heard of him. He tweeted recently that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files. And Ghislaine Maxwell, who was the right-hand woman of Jeffrey Epstein.
If he had this fucking Ivy League fucking piss baby education, what he would say is, he'd be like, hey, listen, he'd just keep going back and forth. He was friendly with the worst person, Ghislaine Maxwell. Actually, no, she's not the worst one. Epstein is. And he's like, well, he was friends with Epstein too. Yeah, but Epstein wasn't as bad as Glenn Maxwell. Do that. He should do that. That's what you do when you're. I feel like sometimes when I listen to these guys argue, I feel like they are sometimes just deliberately trying to demoralize you by being so intentionally fucking dense. Like I think it's part of a ruse. There's no way people are like some humans are this stupid. I think it's a fucking scam. I think they're all up to something. They coordinate.
When she was on trial for child sex offending, which you and I are opposed to, Donald Trump stood up and said, "Good luck to her. I wish her well." So yeah, that makes him pro-crime and pro-criminal if he's being soft on child sex traffickers like Epstein.
No,
I'm saying he was friends. He was friends with Epstein. You haven't seen the videos? They danced together, partied together. Epstein said I was his closest friend.
He's not supported the pedophilia part. The only people
Actually, that's not true. Trump gave a speech about 20 years ago where he said Epstein's a great guy. He loves young women. A lot of them are very young. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, laugh, laugh. So yeah, I think he's pro-crime and pro-criminal.
Do you think he's soft on sex offenders? Do you have any friends who are criminals?
Not that I know of. Certainly not child sex offenders. No, do you?
If it came, of course not.
Okay, so we're both in agreement again. So
Maxwell. I feel like I remember that, but. Maybe we saw it on a Vosh stream 5 years ago. Trump, Maxwell, wish her well.
Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison, and a lot of people want to know if she's going to turn in powerful people. And I know you've talked in the past about Prince Andrew, and you've criticized Bill Clinton's behavior. I'm wondering, do you feel that she's going to turn in powerful men? How do you see that working out?
I don't know. I haven't really been following it too much. I just wish her well, frankly. I've met her numerous times over the years, especially since I lived in Palm Beach, and I guess they lived in Palm Beach. But I wish her well, whatever it is. I don't know the situation with Prince Andrew. Just don't know. Not aware of it.
Man, the media ecosystem is so fucked. Can you imagine if there should be... Why don't Democrats take... Because I know there are a few of these, right? There's the like them young. There's the comments on his daughter. There's the Epstein best friend. Like they're saying it back and forth to each other, or like in separate occasions in interviews. Why isn't there just like a viral thing that anyone can just find on Twitter, and it's like 2 minutes long, and it's got really dark music, and it's implicating Trump to fuck with Epstein? And why doesn't it just like a clip compilation of death, right? Like the same thing as Biden defeat Medicare or whatever the fuck, right? The locker rooms, for the beauty pageants. Why doesn't there just like people doing that? And do you know why there's not? It's because you do have those kinds of people, like the media, like the tabloid politics, right? Like the scumbags, the people who are just making clip compilations and the smear campaigns and all that shit, right? Because you do, like in politics, you do need some of that, right? And it's like, why don't we, do you know why we don't have that? Like Lincoln do you know why we don't actually have that like as much as the Republicans do? It's because all the fucking lefties who should be doing that kind of job and are suited for that job are doing it with like pictures of me hanging out in Israel with with Elon Levy and Yishai, and ignoring all the other people we're speaking to. They're busy doing that instead. Can you imagine if they devoted that energy to, first of all, their own country, and also like the people who are actually bringing fascism to them? But then this is the problem: is like a lot of these like really far lefty people is they're in this world where they're like, oh no, we don't engage with fascists, we don't debate fascists, we just spend our entire time shitting on liberals and arguing with them, even though we also think liberals are fascists. Okay, we're too busy making Ethan Klein videos.
If it came out tomorrow that one of your friends was a child sex trafficker,
you know what I do?
You'd stop being friends with them.
Yes, and I wouldn't say.
And then I'd go on TV and I would say, "Oh, look, Mr. Hassan was friends with this guy 10 years ago. Therefore, he's pro-child sex trafficking."
What if Mr. Hassan said, "I wish them well when they're on trial"? Wouldn't you ever go at me for that?
You wish your friend well on trial?
Yeah, child sex trafficking. Would you mean that?
I wouldn't wish someone well, but that's
Donald Trump did.
That's your gotcha.
It's a pretty big gotcha.
He wished a friend
pretty
well.
big gotcha.
Okay,
He praised
what you're really trying to do right now is you're trying to get Donald Trump on this level.
Elon Musk changed his name.
What's his policy?
You want to talk policies?
Yes.
So when he left office in 2020, he left behind the highest murder rate for over 100 years.
He left behind the highest murder rate? That is the most bad faith claim you could possibly make.
It's a fact from the CDC.
You know what? Here's why it's bad faith.
Can I finish the sentence and then you can come back in?
You're just lying to people.
I'm lying? Can I finish the sentence?
Donald Trump does not cause the murder rate. Murder is a state level
crime.
Trump is more responsible for the murder rate than Donald Trump is.
That's hilarious. So Donald Trump's not responsible for the murder rate, but other politicians who are Democrats.
Yes, because it's a state level law.
I'm sorry, how often do Republicans appeal to crimes? Like what the Republicans, like one of their go-tos is crime rates. They love crime. They love crime because every time there's a fucking crime, they can broadcast a sensationalized crime story and sell it to their fucking voters and blame Democrats. Oh, God.
I'll say Republicans are too. State governors who are soft on crime are the ones that are responsible for murder rates. Let me finish the sentence.
When Donald Trump left office in 2020, between 2019 and 2020, according to data from the CDC, from the FBI, from Pew Research, there's a 30% increase in the murder rate between 2019 and 2020. It was the single biggest jump in the murder rate since 1905. So he's pro-crime.
doing the murdering? Aren't they responsible? Who's doing the murdering?
The murderers.
So aren't they responsible?
But why
for
did
the
it go up
murder
on his watch?
What?
Why did it go up on his watch?
Gee, that's
He's
a real hard.
That's a real hard fighting crime.
That's a real hard one to figure out, right? We shut down the whole economy during COVID. We told everyone they couldn't go out unless it was to violently protest. We told people that if a cop tries to arrest you, that cop's probably going to get charged with murder.
No, I think the pandemic had a lot to do with it. The pandemic didn't finish in 2020.
What?
The pandemic didn't finish in 2020.
And yet
we're going to blame the one about you guys blame Joe Biden for crime for years.
But Joe Biden actively induces policies that are pro-crime. I'm asking
So does Donald Trump.
Name the policy that's pro-crime. Please, I've asked you for like 10 minutes.
I'll name one right now. No, you haven't actually. Talked about California legislatures. He pardoned violent criminals who then went on to commit other crimes. You don't think releasing violent crimes into the community?
What's his policy he has pushed? Name a law he has signed.
A pardon is a one-time thing.
Oh, it has to be a law now. Name the law. It's like name the racist law. What? Okay.
Policy is not one-time.
That's like Jimmy Carter pardoned the draft.
You guys may want to dodge January 6th, the pardon.
I'm not judging that.
Then deal with it. Did you agree with it?
Do you agree with Jimmy Carter pardoned the draft officers? Does that mean his policy was
I don't support Jimmy Carter. Do you support the pardoning of people who went on to be prosecuted for sexually abusing a 7-year-old child, illegal gun possession, reckless homicide?
He didn't pardon someone for sexually abusing a child. He pardoned someone for rebelling against the government that they believed had rigged elections. That's what he pardoned them for. He didn't pardon them for sexual child abuse.
But they were criminals who committed those crimes. He let them out. So that means the crime rate goes up.
So you say they're criminals because they did the crime, right? Would you extend that to illegal immigrants that they're all criminals because they committed a crime? I have a feeling your position.
We're going to talk about immigration.
Not every illegal thing is a crime. That's just not how that is. Criminal and like breaking a law, like those are different, right? Or no, like criminal is committing a crime, but I think it's like not every law that you break is criminal. Is that how it works? Fuck. I believe it's been ruled by the Supreme Court for a long time that are illegal immigrants criminals. It's like felony. Is that what makes it criminal in America? Yeah, legal experts say that unlawful presence in the US by itself is not a crime in most cases. That's from PolitiFact. Which Supreme Court? It's a Supreme Court ruling, isn't it? Arizona versus United States. Is this it? As a general rule, it's not a crime for a movable alien to remain present in the United States. Yeah, okay. Same with civil court, right? Like civil court's not criminal. Like they're different, even though they're both breaking laws. Grumble.
Entered the United States, not a criminal, but some people illegally entered the capital.
Not according to the Supreme Court of the United States.
The Supreme Court has said that anyone who enters the United States illegally is not
a
criminal.
And we can jump to future claims.
Can I get the
We
case?
can jump to 20. You want to get the case?
The case, please. You said the Supreme Court.
The citation of the case.
Yes, that entering the United States illegally is not a crime.
It's called Arizona versus United States 2012. Go look it up.
Pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
Hey, how's it going?
How are you, sir?
Nice to meet you, Mehdi.
Thanks for coming. I appreciate you. I really just more want to get an understanding. When you say pro-criminal, what do you mean?
I mean that when confronted with people who've committed criminal acts, Donald Trump has been either soft on them, friendly with them, pardoned them, and of course, let's not forget, I mean, we've got 5 minutes left, I'm surprised it hasn't come up earlier. He's a convicted criminal himself sitting in the White House.
Okay, I want to make sure I understand you correctly, because I don't want to straw man you. You're saying
I appreciate that.
Every time that he's been confronted,
not every time.
Most times,
every time.
Most times.
A lot of the time.
A lot of the times.
Yes.
He's leaned towards criminal activity.
I didn't say criminal activity. He has committed crimes. He's been indicted for 88 different criminal offenses in 4 different jurisdictions by 5 different grand juries. He was convicted himself on 34 different criminal offenses by a jury of his peers. But let's park that for a moment. Separate to his own crimes, when confronted with the crimes of others, or the alleged crimes of others, for example, a Chinese crypto billionaire called Justin Sun, who was being investigated for market manipulation, Trump dropped the case, invited him to the golf course, invited him to the White House, and the guy invested $70 million in Trump's
cryptocurrency. So what I want to ask you this.
Pro-crime in my view.
Is it possible, because remember, the burden of proof's on you, right? You have to prove. Is it possible that all these things that he's done that supposedly make him pro-crime, is there's another reason for the doing it? There's other justification. For example, let me give you an example, then you can rebut it. The J6. Is it possible that he could have done this to unite the country, to pass, to go to a new chapter? If it's even possible, I think you have to admit that there's another possibility. Therefore, he's not pro-crime. At least in possibility.
So let me agree.
That's fucking. That's so based. Because if a Democrat had done that, that would actually be a valid reason to do that. Yeah, that would be valid. It doesn't work when you do it for your own side. That's like holding the South African Truth and Reconciliation Commission, but when apartheid is still there and it's only for white South African soldiers. You just pardon all the South African soldiers. Keep Mandela in jail and just be like, listen, okay, these pardons, this is reconciliation, okay? We're moving on to a new chapter. Fucking hell, man.
I agree with you that the intent could be different. I don't think Donald Trump was sitting there saying, how can I increase the level of murders? Let me release some murderers.
Right.
I'm not saying he did that on January 6th.
What's this? Hello, Warthongs? Hello?
Hello.
You said you had a story for me.
Yeah. Okay. Let me look for it. Because I wasn't expecting it being so soon.
Oh.
So, story is about. So I am talking to a few dozen people. Story is about one of them went to a GSF site, and it's pretty wild, I would say.
How are you? Do you mind me asking how you're talking to Gazans?
I've done so before. First time was through Reddit, then it was through. I don't even remember. I think Discord. Then it was Telegram.
Okay. Yeah. What was the story then?
Hold on. I'm going through it so I could just read you what he wrote, without me paraphrasing. Okay, so it's gonna be like this. Okay, I went to the southern Gaza Strip. So this guy is from the north Gaza Strip, right?
Okay.
He's been evacuated. His house actually got destroyed a few months ago. Obviously, he's not a Hamas supporter, right? Like, he's pretty anti-Hamas and all that. In fact, he's probably more Zionist than I am, yeah, which is kind of funny. But yeah, so I'm just gonna tell the story. So I went to the southern Gaza Strip because I'm from the north. I stayed in the south for 2 days and only ate one loaf of bread. The day before yesterday, I went to Rafah at 7 a.m. On the way, I passed the bodies of many people waiting for aid. About 20 bodies. I reached the last civilian gathering point. The army was about 400 meters away. There was a tank, 3 jeeps, and 20 soldiers. At 8:45, a drone flew overhead and said the gate would open at 9. While we waited for the quarter hour, there were a lot of bullets and shells. There were no barrier between us and the army, just sand and sun. 3 people were killed besides me during the shooting. When it was 9, everyone started running. I ran about 2 kilometers until I reached the site. It was almost empty, but I got some food. Then he continues. There is ugly racism against people like me who come from the north. People in the south hate people from the north with intense hatred. Like, I guess they hate people inside Gaza from different towns in Gaza. That's what he's referring. When I was inside the site, I asked for Southerner for a kilo of flour who had about 30 kilos. He responded with insults and told me that my appearance suggests I was from the north. When I left the site, there were many gangs and thugs waiting for anyone who came with aid to rob them at gunpoint. Fortunately, I found a kind person from the south who took me with the aid to Khan Yunis. So I tried to figure out why the people next to him were shot, because I was interested in that. He kind of didn't answer it, but he continued. I suffered greatly to be able to return to northern Gaza. There is a lot of racism and thugs who hate the people from the north. As I was subject to about 6 robbery attempts. It was the worst day of my life. And I probed him a bit more about why they were shot. Like, English is not his first language, so he translates what I say, and I translate. Well, we translate to English. So he says, I know why they were preparing for their withdrawal because they were very close, about 400 meters away. I saw their faces, how close they were. So basically he's saying, in order to withdraw orderly, because the Gazans are like very desperate to run first in line, they need to shoot at the people to prevent them from like running. That's what he's saying, basically. That's what I understood, anyways.
And I get that definitely means that these soldiers still, their only crowd control is live fire.
Yeah, which is insane.
Yeah.
Live bullets. Yeah, insane. Yeah. Like, why is there no rubber bullets, at least?
Yeah.
I mean, he said, by the way, he said they were like thousands of people there, not like 2,000 or something. He said like 25,000 people there.
Was that his first time going to GHF?
Yeah.
How do you have a way of like verifying that these people are who they are?
I've been talking to them for a year. Yeah, they sent me pictures of that.
Oh. Well, shit. So he goes down to the south from the north.
I mean, the story I cannot verify, right? He didn't send me any pictures from the story, but the person is real. To say I trust him 100% and he's like a close friend of mine and I can vouch for him without a shadow of a doubt, no. But 95% this is real. Like at least from his experience, maybe not like 100%. He's paraphrasing what he saw. No videos, but like take it with a smallest grain of sand. But it's mostly real, in my opinion, at least.
I mean, it doesn't contradict anything that you would hear from the news either, right? Like that's what we've been hearing. People rush because they're panicking or they don't want to miss the call, and then the soldiers the soldiers only have live fire, so they crowd control by killing people. Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that whole situation?
Like I wrote to you what I felt. Like I was at the start with like the plan to introduce GHF. I was very hopeful because. Hamas profits from the aid with the old way, old, new way still, through taxes and stealing the aid and connection to the, the people who sell, like the merchants who sell the aid, right? That they still are connected to them and tax them. And not everywhere. Like as more Hamas loses control, harder it is to tax them and all that. So definitely, I would want people in Gaza to get the aid without Hamas, getting the money. So I was very hopeful that Israel would deliver the aid. I was like a big proponent of that, like since the start of the war, pretty much. Like I thought we should do it. We should build like a tent city, I thought, and like separate the civilians from, not obviously not at like the first month, but like, a year after the, like at least, or have a plan for that, because, it was not going anywhere. And distribute the aid ourselves, but we do it still in the Gaza Strip without control of the area, with like, so I was hopeful. I thought it would improve, like with more aid sites, but they just opened 4 sites for 2 million people, which is a bit insane, because you need to feed them every day, right? So it's 4 sites for 2 million people. Like the amount of people is gonna come there, they're just gonna trample each other and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a bit. I was hoping they would open more and more. Like you need like 40 sites or something like that, right? So what Israel does now is having like a few GHF sites, and like they're still sending the trucks in that get looted, right? Like it's a good thing if they get looted. I mean, worst thing, they just go like to an aid distribution site controlled by Hamas.
Does it seem like is he going to use the GHF again, or has he made any? Did he say anything about that, or?
I didn't ask him. Probably not. I would assume not. I mean, he was getting like food scarcity in the Gaza Strip, especially in the north, is very poor. So he was saying, families getting pretty, running out of food. So he, volunteered to go get some food, basically.
Oh, for a family.
Yeah.
And was he? When you said he'd gone south, had he gone south to Khan Yunis?
No, to Rafah.
No, as in like when
I'm
he.
not sure why he went all the way to Rafah, though. The rest didn't ask that.
Oh, so they actually are staying south now. They're not like.
Yeah, I think they're around the south area. Like, because he was from the north, but he got evacuated. Shortly after his evacuation, also his house got bombed. So it's a good thing he evacuated. Nobody died. And yeah, he's living like with his uncle, I think, somewhere. I'm not sure. I didn't ask exactly where. But yeah, apparently he's probably close to Rafah.
Did you ask him about the circumstances of his house getting bombed? Was he there, or?
No, he wasn't there.
Okay.
I told you he got evacuated. He doesn't know why. Well, we don't know why it was bombed. I don't think I know. Like, because he knows there's no like Hamas supporters or anything like that.
Yeah.
He was probably bombed just because like it can be used for like the forests are going through the area, and they probably don't want like houses for like over like basically a possible position to get fired from. Like that's the only explanation I have, at least.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for that. Was there anything else to that story, or?
No, I think that's an interesting thing.
Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah.
By the way, I also talk to everyone, right? I talk to if you want to hear stories, I talk to people from Iran, like Iran's like the mullah supporters. I talk to Syrians, talk to Druze, talk to Lebanese people. Like I talk to. It's interesting to hear stories from every side.
Yeah. Well, if you have more, you can let me know. Especially if any of them would ever want to do actual interviews, because I think hearing like especially Syrian Druze is one group that I want to hear from, and also I don't know how possible it is, but like any. If it doesn't put them in danger, like any Gazan who's actually gone through GHF would also be interesting as well to actually talk to.
Yo. You said you talked to Druze and Syrians?
Yeah.
What's going on now? Do you know? Are you up to date?
Well, not like last day up to date, but I know the general feelings of what people think, but not like Sweden is pretty fucked. Like the Druze feel that it got destroyed. All the Sunni population like fled the city. They're still like kind of
The
getting
Sunni
up
population fled the city. Why?
because the Druze, well, the Bedouin, they're living on some parts in Sweden, and because of the Druze, like killing them.
Okay, so right. I don't know. Like sometimes I like talk to some people in other servers. They're like really one-sided on this, and some people are like really in favor of the Druze. And I'm just like, guys, this is not as one-sided as it seems to be.
Well,
like,
I am definitely
yeah,
sympathetic with the Druze, 100%. But
obviously,
obviously,
yeah,
it's not one-sided. Yeah,
yeah.
they're also pretty insane.
It's a fucking clusterfuck. Yeah.
I am sympathetic not because like Druze are my friends and stuff like that, because like I understand like their course of action. Like, like there's 3 Druze leaders, right? Who some of them are like pro-Syrian, some of I don't know if you went over this topic. Some of them are like pro-Assad, some of them are like more pro the new government. In April, there was like a rumor that a Druze leader said something about like the Sunni, leader or the prophet or something like that, like something about religion. So they went and started like gathering up like the HTS guys, or 10 civilian died. They just executed them, and obviously the Druze lost, and Israel intervened kind of a bit. Druze lost all trust after that incident. First it happened with the Alawites, then that happened. So Druze lost the faith in the government, even though they signed kind of an agreement. So the more radical parts of the Druze leadership there, once the fighting started with the Bedouin against, I don't know if you know how it started, but I will. Basically, there was a robbery done by the Bedouins. The Druze, because there's no police, the Druze caught the people who did the robbery. I think he was a religious leader who got robbed or something like that. Never mind, they caught the robbers and they humiliated them, like slapped them around, did all of that, like.
Yeah.
And then, after that, the Bedouins started killing Druze, basically. Again, not sure to what extent. Maybe it was militants, maybe it's civilians. I'm not sure, but they were killing Druze after that incident, and then the Druze started fighting the Bedouins, and then the HTS intervened to try to stop it. But again, the radical parts of the Druze ambushed the convoys of the HTS, killing them, and then it spiraled into like, we're gonna get back to the Druze and just fighting, like joining with the Bedouins, fighting the Druze and like massacring.
Okay, man, this is all so like stupid. This is all like the country is like held together by duct tape, barely.
Yeah, and I saw that now the SDF, does not want, obviously after what happened, he does not want to basically join the army, kind of thing. So I'm not sure. Yeah, but it's. I mean, I'm not sure what the like.
But what
Israel is like for the world, like how you see Israel is behaving like a rabid dog, right? Like just bombing everything. For us, it's like we have a Druze population, and they actually hold like political power. Like, it's not, they're Arabs, right? But they actually
the thing is like.
The
thing is like.
Sorry, yeah.
The thing is like. Okay, you say they hold like power in Israel. The thing is just that like Israel still doesn't really care much about them in a way. I heard Sev say that like you don't properly fund like infrastructure in Druze areas and education in Druze areas. The only reason why there was funding beforehand was because like Palestinian Israelis in the Knesset passed a bill to fund them, and that was that was paused by Smotrich.
Arab areas are less funded, and Druze as well, infrastructure-wise as well, and
it's just like
they do get tax breaks, at least. Like,
there's no way to like. Now that like Israel has intervened, I feel like there's like no way to actually solve this issue in Syria now. like, what is Israel gonna do? Like, annex Sweden? How are they gonna do that? There's still areas between Sweden and Israel. Like, what are they gonna do?
I mean, you probably need all Jewish leaders to agree and like to, you know, have talks with the government. I mean, it's fuck, because I feel like Giuliani really does mean what he means. Like, he really does not want like to fuck Israel over and go like, but he doesn't have full control of his forces. Basically, it's like ragtag groups, like kind of mushed into one force that he has no centralized control. Like, I'm sure he doesn't want. Well, I'm not sure, but like I'm pretty sure that he doesn't want like what happened there, like to the Druze people, right? I'm pretty sure he did not want them, you know, killed, like what had happened. But he cannot have like the full control.
Yeah, but
That's
like,
hard.
Al-Hijri doesn't want to be like, he doesn't acknowledge the current Syrian government. Like, he doesn't want anything to do with them. So what are you gonna do?
Well, you have to have talks somehow. I don't know. Get like autonomous like regions or something like that, like with some political power. I don't know. Like in the same.
Seems
with the...
like such a like bad situation. I was so hopeful, and then yeah, I was so hopeful, and my hopes have been crushed.
I think normalization, like if Saudi steps in and like like I don't know, you need like other countries to kind of step in and help the normalization process and like the talks to help Syria.
Yeah. All right. Sorry.
By the way, definitely like before all of this, there's like the liberal Syrians and then there's the Sunni Syrians, like that they're like the majority. They like the devout Muslim kind of. They don't want like most of them, at least like from my understanding, didn't, even the devout Muslim ones, they didn't want like a war with Israel. They just wanted like to live. But now most of them like kind of changed their heart, you know, after what happened, and they really hate Israel now. At least from my conversations.
Okay.
Okay.
Listen, I'm gonna go back to this fashy thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Gorthongs. Bye
Right.
bye.
Bye
bye.
Is this supposed to be me? Why is my nose so fucking long? Why would you do that?
Don't think he was trying to unite the country. That's where we disagree. That's bullshit. In fact, he divided the country further. But intent doesn't really matter to my claim. If he's releasing violent criminals,
Wait.
it
Intent doesn't matter?
No, he's pro-crime and pro-criminal.
No, but that's a big indictment to say pro-crime. That means he's for crime.
I'm confronted. Well, he is, because I gave an example.
No. It could be possible. Sorry, forgive me.
Your friend earlier, your ally, said, where has he done stuff that's increased the crime? I'm telling you, people have been pardoned who have been convicted on multiple other crimes. These people who we pardoned had previous criminal records. They were not just some folks chilling around and go, we're against the takeover of our country, we're opposed to rebellion. A lot of these people were already hardened criminals, militia members. He looked at those people and said, you know what? They've been convicted, in many cases, by Republican judges, but I'm going to let them out. Yeah, that makes you pro-criminal.
Is it possible?
And if Joe Biden had done it, you'd be attacking him.
Sure. Is it possible that their conviction was part of a plea? It's like, oh shit, I can't get out of this, so I got to take a plea deal.
Some of them, maybe.
A lot of them, maybe.
Others we saw with
this
our own.
Happens with like this happens with every type of criminal. What the fuck? Like, is it illegitimate because they had a plea deal? You fucking retard! God, that's how your country works. That's how your legal system works. Yes. Jesus Christ.
Lying eyes on tape, battering police officers. Did you watch live on January 6th? What happened?
To be completely honest, I'm pretty novice on this. I'm more trying to target. You're saying he's pro-crime in my head. I'm just thinking this. Let me finish.
I don't really know what happened in January. I don't know about any of the violence. You know, I just remember seeing that one guided tour video from the Tucker Carlson documentary.
If I think of this, there's a possibility that he might have had other reasons. For example, unifying the country. Next chapter, right? That could be the reason. Therefore, it's not pro-crime. There was other reasons. I'm just saying that's a possibility. And if that's,
I'm saying it's a possibility, but I'm saying it's irrelevant, because if you're knowingly releasing violent criminals out into the community, pardoning, not just releasing, then yes, you are being pro-criminal. And I've interviewed police officers.
I don't know about that case.
I've interviewed police officers who have been assaulted, beaten, had to retire from the police office, broken bones. I'll finish very quickly. I've interviewed these police officers. They've been beaten by people who they've then seen walk off the streets and then carry on threatening them. Yes, when Donald Trump is responsible for that, you're definitely pro-crime.
Okay, I doubt
a
lot
of sources.
You doubt police officers who testified to being assaulted.
You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
Thanks. Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Nice to meet you, Mehdi.
So you claim that your main claim is that Trump pardoned some people from January 6th. By the way, I was there. I saw it all firsthand. About a football field away. There's smoke in my eyes. Bloodied. It was a crazy day.
Were you convicted of any crimes?
No, of course not, because I didn't enter the building. Stay very peaceful. But your entire claim is that he pardoned. That's basically you keep bringing it up. All you do is bring it up.
Well,
let me say this.
Are you okay with his pardoning of Paul Wolchak, who stole money from his employees?
You keep talking about pardoning.
That's my claim. He keeps pardoning criminals that makes him.
You know who else pardoned a big criminal?
Go on.
Hunter Biden was pardoned by his father. He did crack cocaine, and he had hookers there too.
I'm with you all.
But then why don't you claim that Biden? Why don't you claim that
I think Joe Biden in that instance was pro-crime. He shouldn't have done it.
Well, so he's overall pro-crime just because he did that.
No, but Joe Biden didn't just. So if it was just a pardon, then you'd be fine. But I already mentioned there's also the fact that Joe Biden wasn't actually a convicted criminal in office. Trump has committed crimes. Trump hangs around with criminals. He spent much of the 80s hanging around with the New York mob. He hung around with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell.
Well, that's
I can keep going.
Jeffrey Epstein lived in the West Palm Beach area, and that's the closest golf course you can go to.
Do you think Donald Trump did the Epstein file?
As soon as Trump found out,
Here's golf course. They were friends, retard. Okay.
No, I do not. Let me explain this. Okay. He lived in the area in Mar-a-Lago, near Mar-a-Lago, so he bought, obviously, a ticket to go in there. Yep. As soon as Trump found out that Epstein had done all those bad things, immediate ban from Mar-a-lago. Okay. Immediate ban from Mar-a-lago. Yes, it is.
That's not
yes,
true.
it is.
In fact, Ghislaine Maxwell recruited some of the girls that were abused from Mar-a-Lago.
So listen to this.
From Mar-a-Lago. That's pretty outrageous, right?
Elon Musk tweeted that out in a fit of rage, okay? Do you
sometimes
really
think the truth comes out when people are angry sometimes.
So Cash Patel literally said that Elon Musk had no access to the Epstein files.
Cash Patel said that Epstein killed himself. Do you agree with that?
Whatever he says goes then. Yeah, I don't care. He knows more information than I do.
A lot of MAGA people are upset.
He knows more information than I do. But here's the actual claim.
Suddenly people are trying to vote you out because you said you agree with Cash Patel and Epstein.
He knows more information
than I do. Pause. That's time. Please return to your seat.
Good to meet you.
Yeah. Take care.
Surrounded is now a podcast, available wherever you listen. Search Surrounded, plug in.
Oh, advertising. Imagine having advertising in your YouTube video. On a completely unrelated note, chat, if you wish to support this channel, because I work very hard for you guys, some might say the hardest job of all, okay? Some might say that. If that offends you, I didn't say it. I just said some might say it. Get over it, cock. But I would like to make you aware that there's a Super Chat's goal if you wish to support the channel by contributing either a teal or above Super Chat. We need 5 more out of 10. 5 more to go. And I think we've got about 45 minutes left on it. So chop chop, dickheads. Also, I've noticed there's a really alarming lack of teal names in the chat. And you can get one of those. You want a color for your name rather than be a gray fuck. Just get a membership, okay? Get a membership. You can get a cheap one. You can get a high-end one. It's up to you. We got something for everyone. It's bots all the way down. Thanks for the tier 1 sub. Alita, thanks for the tier 3 sub. Loner, I unironically post like that. And I got called an AI bot yesterday. Yeah, because that's what they're like. Yeah, that thing I saw at the beginning. God. Akiko Sanada, thanks for the $5. Favorite shipping dynamic, combat drone X American Russian volunteer. True, based. Absolutely. Based. Lawson Harrison, thanks for the $5. His kids are better off. Wow. About the American guy who's going to die in Ukraine. Wow. Going to eat some of that black soil. Shit. Charles Oberon, thanks for the 15 shekels. I read the beginning of Mehdi Hasan's book, Win Every Argument, and it really turned me off him. You should try reading the introduction to him. Mehdi Hasan's a bit of a cringe lord, but he's good at what he does. He's got that British bulldozer method. Shivam Rai, thanks for the $9.99. Sorry, I have genuinely no sympathy for these American pro-Russian simps. These are the same people who exclaim brown people like me have no place in the US no matter how much patriotism we show. Yep. Ew, thanks for the $19.99. Twice! How generous of you. Oh my God. Much better than everyone else in this community. Spy Night Plays, thanks for the $2. Pierce's recent vid, look at bot comments, 4 numbers. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I can't do it. Shivam, that's the other $4.99. The tougher part isn't necessarily naturalization. The tough part is actually getting permanent residency in America. Oh, what? It's easier to get naturalization than permanent residency? Or is it because you need... I guess you need permanent residency for naturalization, no? Huh. And Dwayne, thanks for $5. Melt it down and add to the others. I will. Hang on. Also, what's happened to my goal? What's happened to my goal? Oh yeah, it ends in 36 minutes, okay? Why is it not updating? Because Dwayne gave a chat. Is it fucked? Is the goal destroyed? Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've got 6, but it's only saying 5. Fucked.
Stay part of the conversation. Anywhere, anytime.
Shut up.
The Constitution.
Trump is defying the Constitution. Okay.
Nice to meet you, sir. Mehdi, lovely to meet you.
So I would say that with Trump being anti-Constitution, I don't really care, to be quite frank.
Okay.
Because in regards... in regards to...
Okay, well, just say he is. Okay, yeah, he is. Let's move on.
The Constitution is a document that should seek to serve us. And when it fails to seek to serve us, that can be amended. Laws can be changed. And quite...
But defying amending the Constitution is not defying it. You need a high threshold for amending it. To amendment, I think it needs like 3/4 approval in the Senate or some shit. Either 66 or 75. You need a lot of people.
Frankly, the fact is, we're defending things in this country that shouldn't be defended. The First Amendment should not defend pornography and making children and women be victimized. making women and children be victimized as a result of that. I think things like blasphemy shouldn't be allowed per the First Amendment. I think that, quite frankly, there are a lot of legal processes that are enabling criminals and bad people to fully enact their will in this country in the name of the Constitution or following the Constitution. So, quite frankly, if Trump is anti-Constitution, good, and I think he should go further.
So this is wonderfully revealing of the modern conservative mindset.
Brilliant.
So I appreciate you spelling it out so openly. Just checking, do you support the Second Amendment?
I do.
Okay, surprise, I was shocked to hear that. I'm saying that Donald Trump is defying the First Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, the 14th Amendment. He's thinking of defying the 12th and 22nd Amendments. You're saying you don't care about the Constitution, but actually you do because you quite like the Second Amendment. You just don't like the bits that you disagree with. Can I just be clear on that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I'm more than willing to amend it and include
whenever
the
it's in your
Second
favor.
Amendment. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
So can Democrats do the same when they're in office?
No, absolutely not.
So you don't believe in democracy?
No, I don't. Absolutely not.
What do you believe in?
Autocracy.
By who?
Honestly, quite frankly, anyone who is in line with Catholic teaching.
Donald Trump is not Catholic.
Of course, he's not. I completely agree.
Why is there fucking applause? These guys are groypers. It's just like the Fuentes campaign where like he mobilizes his audience to go and do this shit. Fucking hell.
You don't support Trump?
No, I don't. I didn't even vote for him. I wrote in like John Pork or someone. I can't even remember.
Why did you vote if you don't believe in democracy and you want autocracy?
Well, because quite frankly, I voted. I kind of voted just to
I came with this argument, but I'm bored of my own argument. I'm much more interested in this. So
yeah, absolutely.
How do we get to an autocracy?
I think, quite frankly, that if we are able to enact local leaders.
Who is the we, by the way?
I think, quite frankly, these far-right conservatives sitting right around
white people?
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
well, actually, I have quite
some of the people.
Catholics. A lot of Catholics in the world are like South American, right? But not those guys. Hell no.
From what I can see visually.
Actually, hold on for a moment. I do think that there are people who happen to not be white who do actually have history in this country and have roots in this country. For instance, from the Mexican-American War, we subsumed a lot of territory of people who have far stakes in this country who happen to be Hispanic or what have you. I'm for defending the traditional demographics of this country, which is majority white.
So
it should stay that
way. How
way.
does the United States? I mean, we've gone so off topic.
It was Italians and Irish. How did America treat them? Why are Catholics? America wasn't really didn't take too kindly to them, did they? American right-wingers did not like fucking Italian and Irish immigrants coming over back in the day. But I guess now Catholic is the American stock. America was built by fucking Protestants, not Catholics. Am I wrong? And a lot of those Protestants actually resented Catholic immigrants. Yeah, the swarthy Germans. True.
What does the United States look like under you? So what's your name?
My name is, my name's Connor. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Pick a little bit of a doubt.
Oh, well, I use a pseudonym online,
fair enough,
but fair enough.
How would Connor's America look? What would it look like?
Well, quite frankly, I think we would deport people who shouldn't be here.
I didn't ask what does the government look like?
What's the government look like?
Yeah.
I would say, quite frankly, it's under a sort of benevolent leader, such as
Where does he
Franco.
come from?
Oh, it could be a kind of aristocratic
Like
class. Could
Franco.
be someone who
Did he say Franco? No.
Well, quite frankly, I think we would deport people who shouldn't be here.
I didn't ask what does the government look like?
What's the government look like?
Yeah.
I would say, quite frankly, it's under a sort of benevolent leader, such as
Where does he come
Franco.
from?
Oh, it could be a kind of aristocratic class. Could be someone
who picks the autocrat?
Frankly, the people. I mean, we could hold a vote on it. Kings
Isn't that democracy?
Well, sure. You can have a vote to get to that state.
And then no more votes afterwards?
Absolutely.
Wow.
100%.
Wow. And if that
he's so happy.
autocrat kills you and your family, you're fine with that?
Well, I'm not going to be a part of the group that he kills, because that's the whole thing.
How do you know?
Carl Schmitt
Autocrats tend to kill everyone.
Carl Schmitt makes this point very well in his work. It's the friend-enemy
Carl Schmitt, the Nazi. Yeah.
distinction, right?
The Nazi
Carl
lawyer.
Schmitt, the Nazi theoretician?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't care.
Are you a fan of the Nazis?
I frankly don't care being called a Nazi
I
at
didn't
all.
say that. I didn't actually say that. I said, are you a fan of the Nazis?
Well, they persecuted the church a little bit. I'm not a fan of that. But
what about the persecution of the Jews?
A little bit. They persecuted the Catholics actually quite specifically. Not just in Germany, because in Germany there was a bit of a marriage of convenience between Catholics and Nazis, like a tolerance of convenience, more like, because Hitler never really liked them. Catholics were quite powerful, and especially I think in the south. But when they went to Poland, they absolutely fucking railed against the Catholics. Like, they murdered so many fucking priests and Catholics in Poland. Fuck. Okay.
Well, I mean, I certainly don't support any.
You know what's really interesting? Groypers, Catholic nationalists, almost every single one of them probably prefers like Hitler to the Pope. Or definitely Trump to the Pope. Isn't that crazy? Because Trump's lifestyle is very un-Christian, for one. He's a total degenerate, party animal, criminal, fucks about with hookers and shit. But it's funny that these Catholic groyper nationalists actually they don't like not the recent Pope anyway, because there's a new one now. That's just a very funny dynamic.
One's human dignity being assaulted. I'm a Catholic.
But you don't condemn Nazi persecution of the Jews?
I think that there was a little bit of persecution.
We may have to relay that show, because you're a little bit more than a far-right Republican.
Hey, what can I say?
I think you say, I'm a fascist.
Yeah, I am. Absolutely.
God, it's so fucking corny, man. Look at these guys.
I think you say...
Guy has a touch of the tism. Oh god, this guy's got like a fucking... He's got an entire Zyklon B canister sprinkle of tism. Oh my god.
A fascist.
Yeah, I am.
Absolutely.
I'm just checking who's clapping just to get my set of where everyone is on this. Because you know that millions of people are going to be watching you on YouTube and checking out who the fascists and the Nazis are.
I'm not ashamed of that whatsoever.
No, clearly you're not.
During the pre-war period, prior to World War II, it was only those parties that properly enacted the people's will. That's why they won. The conservatives were fat.
It wasn't the people's will, you fucking loser. No, it was not the people's will. The Nazis only ever got, in a fair and free election, they got 37% of the vote. That was it. And then they had to fucking bully the shit out of people and arrest their political opponents and have brown shirts harass people at polling stations to get 42% of the vote. And then they were like, you know what? These elections, stop this. Stop letting people vote. Fuck that. Because they don't like us. They never liked us, really. The majority of Germans never really got majority, Nazis never got majority support. They got tacit support, convenient, people just keeping their heads down out of convenience. But in terms of voting, no, they got 37% of the vote in a free election. That's the best they did. The people's will. Fucking loser. Ugh. Yeah, so he also lost his job. He lost his job, fired for my political beliefs, and he's fundraising. He's raised 34. Jesus Christ! 34K when the goal is 15. Wait, unrelated. Okay, so at the time of this screenshot 4 hours ago, he had not out fundraised these three. But despite having a lower goal, fired for my political beliefs. Well done, LonerBox. Where is the, it's a GoFundMe, right? Give, send, go. Where's the, thank you. Connoir. That was his nickname in school when Stacy rejected him for a fucking black dude. And this is why he's like this. He never got over it. Now he just does this. He went on the Rift. My name is Connor, and I was recently shown in the last Jubilee episode as a result. Unfortunately, I was subsequently released from my job. I'm raising money as an emergency fund and other expenses while I look for a new job. Unfortunately, voicing fully legal traditional right-wing political views results in real consequences, but you're against the First Amendment, retard. Like what? This is the world you want. What? Just because might makes right, buddy. Sorry. And you guys have no fucking might. Therefore, this is cancel culture and political discrimination on full display. Wait, he's on 36K now. So he is ahead of Frogan, but still behind Denims and Casey-tron. I think he'll be past them by fucking tomorrow afternoon. Jesus.
Are you in favor of killing people who aren't like you?
Quite frankly, I'm not.
You mentioned Franco earlier. Franco killed a lot of innocent people.
Oh, well, he killed communists. He killed people who raped nuns and killed priests.
What about children who he killed and women who he killed?
What are you talking about? He never killed any women or children. He was Catholic.
He only killed combatants. Is that what you're
saying? He was Catholic. Yeah, he also killed Catholics. Yeah.
Kill combatants. The white terror was only punishing those people who did acts of terrorism. And again, are you supporting raping innocent women? Nuns, dude. Killing priests? I mean, priests don't brandish guns and kill people.
You just refuse to condemn the Nazi Holocaust, my friend. I don't think you're in a position to ask anyone any questions.
I quite frankly don't care what you think about me. If I'm a Nazi and being a Nazi, being a Nazi means upholding human dignity, because I even believe in your dignity. I don't, in a state that I was running, I wouldn't want to hurt you or anything like that. But quite frankly,
I don't debate fascists.
Okay. So do you concede then? I mean, why?
Do I concede you're a fascist? You won't condemn the Nazis?
Yeah.
Yes, I concede that.
Okay, great. So I mean, what are we doing here? Because I mean, you just seem offended, to be quite frankly.
I'm offended by people who can't condemn the Nazis. Yes, I am.
Okay. Well, I condemn the evils that they did, but I don't really care about being. Yeah, sure. I don't care about being called a Nazi is the whole thing.
I never called you. You called yourself a Nazi, a fascist, and a General Franco supporter.
Well, yeah, I am a General Franco supporter. He was awesome. He was so super cool, quite frankly. Because the whole thing.
Why are all these people gripers? Why are they all nodding? What the fuck? Oh, God.
Democracy.
I don't believe in democracy.
What are you doing here at a televised debate? This is democracy.
Because it is the means to support an end. The reason we have free speech now is because we want to be
he's definitely read Carl Schmitt, if he's saying that.
Talking about our opinions so we can get the state that we want. But it doesn't mean upholding free speech after we win. Again, I mentioned
the only good thing about this fascist moment we're in is that you guys are so open about it.
The whole reason I mentioned Carl Schmitt earlier, and you kind of blew past him, is the friend-enemy distinction. Even liberals, when they take power, they want to enact policies and they want to enact protections for their people and their ideas, and they're willing to punish their enemy. And so I'm the same way. I'm like, hey, if you're going to punish me, I'm going to get in power, and I'm going to frankly punish you when you try to leverage power against me. Just that simple.
I'm not sure what you want to say.
The thing I wonder is that Mehdi Hasan is obviously a bit too mainstream to really know how to deal with these arguments. Because if he had, the thing is that when lefties do this thing of I don't debate fascists, it's because they have no experience in it. They don't know what the points are. They don't know how to argue about what Franco did or argue with a Holocaust denier, for example. I think a lot of people get that. I think a lot of people get nervous around Holocaust denial debates because they know that most of what we learn about the Holocaust is when we're young. And we take all of it for granted. So I think most people know that Holocaust deniers will have questions that people who believe it happened, who know it happened, can't answer. So they just avoid it. I wonder how it looks though, because to me, it looks like this fucking coy dude with his little fucking niche opinions. I don't know if MAGA would see that and think like, wow, this guy's really ruffled some feathers with those opinions. Maybe I want to have a look at that. Damn. If I can be the first right winger to not get absolutely fucking torn to shreds by Mehdi Hasan and just leave him stumped, what would you say? I'm fairly confident in dealing with Holocaust deniers, so I'd probably go on that. I would just ask him how many Jews died in the Holocaust and then just ramble from there. Or about Catholics, I would ask him about, well, do you care that the founding fathers were Protestants, not Catholics? And they actually, the earliest white American settlers in America opposed it when Catholics came to America. They opposed Irish and Italians coming to America. So you could do things like that, yeah. Or if you're Catholic, like, why do you prefer Trump to the Pope? Or I'd be like, okay, you're Catholic. The recent Pope, quickfire, Trump or him, Trump or the Pope, Hitler or the Pope, Franco or the Pope. Because they're never going to say the Pope. They're never going to say that they're not Catholics.
It is.
All right. Pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seats.
It's a pleasure to meet you, sir.
I can't say the same, but thank you. Good to meet you, man.
Good to meet you, sir. All right. So I kind of want to start at the basics or the foundation. I want to see.
Can I just check?
This guy didn't like Trump, though. Do you think that guy prefers the Pope or Trump? He obviously prefers Trump.
Are you a fascist?
No.
Okay.
I don't. I describe myself as, I think, just a Christian. I'm a devout Christian.
Good to hear.
So I want to start, like, what is your connection to
that guy looks quite familiar. Where is he?
Good to meet you, sir. All right. So I kind of want to start at the basics or the foundation. I want to see.
Can I just check?
Yes.
Are you a fascist?
No.
Okay.
I don't. I describe myself as, I think, just a Christian. I'm a devout Christian.
Good to hear.
So
him, he looks familiar. And he's not Patrick Bateman, although that's definitely.
I want to start, like, what is your connection to the Constitution and why do you love it so much? Like, what makes it so important that Trump would defy something like the Constitution to you personally?
Great questions. My first connection is I'm an American citizen. I naturalized American citizen, took a pledge to this country, to the Constitution.
Who's this? Parker, why don't you debate the omniliberal because of his poor character, but you will debate a Nazi, post unavailable. I guess he tweeted something and it's gone now? Okay. Damn, called out. Damn. Z, thanks for cooking this TikTok girl. Oh, it's Z, the microaggressor. The severe microaggressor. The big small aggressor. A massive tiny aggression. Very large microaggression.
ChatGPT real quick and see if shit looks weird. Like, I mean, let me just look at it. Do a quick search in ChatGPT real quick and see if shit looks weird. Like, I mean, let me just look at it. I mean, you guys can look into it. Just put the link in real quick, just throw it in, and be like, what are some things?
It looks weird.
I mean, I'm saying for people that maybe don't understand all of the analytics.
You know what? The reason why I'm telling you, Allison.
Do a quick search in chat.
Athena's Discord is still talking about that shit. Are those the people that are like influencing Dean and Parker to be fucking? I mean, they do it to themselves, really. They're adults, so yeah.
Previous speaker said, Constitution's not perfect. A lot of things I don't like about it.
You know what else is massive? Your mom's cock.
Second Amendment. There's various amendments. I don't like the way the Senate is set up. I'm sure there's things you don't like about the Constitution. The difference is, I don't think you can just illegally defy the Constitution. I think each and every one of us can just make up whatever we want. Certainly presidents who are elected with an oath, right? Donald Trump took an oath to preserve, protect, defend the Constitution. And now when he's asked on television, isn't it your job to uphold the Constitution? He said on NBC, I don't know, which goes against his oath. And I'm identifying specific amendments where he is violating. He's only 6 months into his presidency, defying the First Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, the 14th Amendment. He wants to defy the 22nd Amendment and be president for a third term. This is the problem we have right now. Free speech is under assault. The free press is under assault. Due process is under assault. The right to be in your home and not be invaded by federal agents, the Fourth Amendment, is under assault. So that for me is a problem.
Okay. Well, I'd like to start to say I really don't find the Constitution that important. I find it to be like a 300-year-old document. And it was created to defy the country that subjugated your ancestors in India. And then your parents probably moved from India to Britain. And then you move here to tell us that we should listen to a piece of paper that you were never even connected to begin with. So I want to say, like, if I don't care about it, why do you care about it so much?
How do you run a country without any kind of laws or due process? And by the way, you do care about it, because without the First Amendment, you wouldn't be sitting here.
Oh, I agree with the First Amendment. I think
so do you agree with Donald Trump's crackdown on the First Amendment? He's imprisoning people for their speech. He's threatening free speech media organizations. He's threatening peaceable assembly. These are all rights under the First Amendment. Why aren't you bothered by that as a conservative claim?
No. The fucking Temu Lauren Southern. She didn't like that. Trump is defying the First Amendment, Tim Pool.
First Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, the 14th Amendment. He's thinking of defying the 12th and 22nd Amendments. You're saying you don't care about the Constitution, but actually you do. Because
they don't have it in Russia, do they, Tim?
quite like the Second Amendment. You just don't like the bits that you disagree with. Can I just be clear on that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I'm more than willing to amend it and include
whenever
the
it's in your
Amendment.
favor.
Yeah,
of course.
absolutely.
So can Democrats do the same when they're in
Yes,
office?
no, absolutely not. Because
so you don't believe in democracy?
Wait, did Tim say absolutely and the guy said absolutely not?
Just be clear on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I'm more than willing to amend it and include
whenever
the
it's in
Second
your
Amendment.
favor.
Yeah,
of course.
absolutely.
So can Democrats?
Of course. So Democrats can do it with
Let's do the same when they're in
yes,
office.
Absolutely.
No, absolutely.
Yes, Democrats can do the same. Okay. Okay, so Tim, you don't agree with this guy. Does Tim just want to have a country where, like, whenever the Dems come in, they can just rule by decree as long as Republicans get to do it afterwards? Like, what?
Absolutely not. Because
So you don't
it's the
believe in
friend enemy.
democracy?
No, I don't. Absolutely not.
What do you believe in?
Autocracy.
By who?
Go on, Tim. You're not pro-autocracy,
Honestly, quite
are
frankly,
you?
anyone who is in line with Catholic teaching.
Donald Trump is not Catholic.
Of course, he's not. I completely agree, and
so
that's
you
part of
support
the problem.
Trump? You don't support Trump?
No, I don't. I didn't even vote for him. I wrote in like
Tim's
John
still a
Pork
liberal,
or
by the
someone.
way.
I
Right?
don't even remember.
It's like a liberal ideas.
Why did you vote if you don't believe in democracy and you want autocracy?
Well, because
look at Mehdi Hasan just snapping. He's like, wait, what do you mean you don't support Trump? I saw this really funny moment where this liberal guy posted a clip from Nick Fuentes. And he was like, the MAGA crowd is losing it over Trump. And I was like, bro, Nick Fuentes said don't vote for Trump. Do you know anything about what Nick's opinions are? It's not one-dimensional, dude. But these people can't wrap their heads around the fact that there are other political factions at play, and there are many on the right who don't like Trump. They love to run this line. Trump may not be racist, but racists all vote Trump. What do you think that means? Or like, something like that. Or no, what do they say? Not all Trump supporters are racist, but all racists are Trump supporters.
True.
Clearly not the case.
Clearly. Some people think, there are some racists who think Trump isn't racist enough and they don't vote for anyone. Wow. Tim, well done. Okay? We stand defeated. The lefties have been crushed under the weight of that massive fucking knob.
Let's talk about the Constitution, my friends. Mehdi Hasan, don't play stupid games. Come on. Blasphemy laws existed at the founding of the Constitution. You were not allowed to carry guns wherever you wanted. It was a federal restriction, not a state restriction. The states could restrict it, and the Constitution was only what the federal government was restricted on. It was literally and simply, federal law enforcement couldn't take your guns, but state law enforcement could because they're different things, and the states were in and unto themselves. So this idea of someone following or not following the Constitution is a political power argument made by literally anybody left or right for the sake of their moral standing. That's literally it.
The Constitution changed over time. Like, that's why they have amendments, but those amendments take a high threshold to that's still all in line with supporting the Constitution. Okay.
And I'm sorry, a lot of people are going to say, Tim, there's a...
Were blasphemy laws never in the United States? Were they not? Is that true? They were never in the... They were in the UK, and actually they were in the UK until quite recently. They were removed, not even this... They were removed this century. They were just never enforced for a long time. Did America ever have blasphemy laws? I guess they did. In the colonies, or what about like Articles of Confederation? They became state laws, but they were never constitution. I guess because the First Amendment is obviously like against blasphemy laws. Huh. Often developed legal protections for Christians to practice their religion. These safeguards often did not extend to non-Christians. Huh. This is colonies, though. Huh. Oh, 1824. Someone was convicted of blasphemy by the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. When was the... Wait. It's an amendment. When was the First Amendment? 1789. Oh, Bill of Rights. That's what, obviously, first time. Okay. So there were blasphemy laws at state level. Okay.
Constitution, yes. But if we were going to go by what the founding fathers actually meant by the Constitution, you'd have to rewind some of the amendments that have been made to it. Because the founding fathers certainly did not intend for there to be a ban on slavery. But then there was. So we're not going to interpret it as it originally...
Well, the way that the founding fathers wrote about slavery is like they were also very clear in the sense that it was very noticeable that there's a few theories about this that I've heard when I was learning about US civics. I think the one that I found the most convincing was that the reason that they were quite, they equivocate on the language of slavery quite often in the Constitutional Convention. And it's kind of like, I think it was apparently quite intentional that they didn't mention it by name. Because I think weren't the founding fathers at this point, when they're talking about all men are created equal and all that, aren't they kind of like like slaves were other persons, right? In the 3/5 compromise, wasn't the whole point that they were like kind of ashamed of slavery in a way, that they were already they were embarrassed by it because it so obviously contradicted what they were saying? And also, why would they allow for amendments if you can pass an amendment to free slaves? Even Jefferson wanted slavery to be phased out. Okay, so Tim doesn't know shit then. Like, yeah, okay.
Was because the original interpretation didn't include enslaved black people, Native Americans, and foreign immigrants. And then later we came to amend it as our society changed. That is, the Constitution always changes, and what is determined as following the Constitution.
How does it change, though, Tim? How do you amend the Constitution? By decree?
Constitution is. There's a broad swath of actions Trump can take, notably challenging an election, for instance. He's allowed to do that. That's constitutional. You then challenge him in the courts. That's the constitutional process. If Donald Trump says birthright citizenship is out, he can do that as per the Constitution with executive order. And the argument that it's longstanding precedent does not apply to constitutional standards. It would then have to be tested in the courts, and the courts decide. That is precedent. That's how our system operates. So I ain't playing any stupid game where Mehdi's going to make an argument about what amendment.
Okay, he actually doesn't know shit about about America. He doesn't know about of course he doesn't. He doesn't care about it. He doesn't like it. When it comes to Trump's decisions by executive order, the problem with them is that they are so clearly against the intentions of the Constitution and against American processes. For example, the tariffs. As it's written, I believe, presidents can raise tariffs to a certain percentage. I think it's 15, but it has to be on the grounds of national security or national emergency. Was it security? Wait. Can the president tariff countries raise executive order without Congress? It's 15%, isn't it? Yeah, without congressional approval, it can be 15% on goods, all goods from a country, but it has to be on the grounds of, is it security or where's it's section 122 of the Trade Act. It has to either be security or crisis, right? But the security/crisis that they spoke about was, like Canada, they spoke about fentanyl. They said it was because of a fentanyl thing. And it was, in all these countries, there was more than 15% they were tariffing, which again was not within procedure. And they also, with the other countries, I'm pretty sure the crisis they were talking about was the fact that there's a trade deficit, which is not correct. Like, it's so stupid. Okay.
He thinks should be enforced in one way, and then this other guy thinks should be enforced another way. Because I'm going to tell you this, I think it should be enforced the way I want it to be enforced. And everybody is slightly different. I have sat down.
Oh God, he's this fucking relativist fucking cuck bullshit. When the fact that he just complained about every single fucking thing the Democrats did, but then now that it's Republicans, he's just going to say, oh yeah, well, everyone's cynical. Everyone just interprets executive order in whatever way they want to. Everyone defies the Supreme Court, really. Everyone just kind of is effectively ruling by decree with extra steps. Like, fuck off, man. It's so. Oh, you're such a transparent fuck. Like, yeah, you want Russia. That's what you want. Yeah.
Republican politicians who have said you cannot own nuclear weapons. And I said, hey, man, when did the founding fathers say in the Second Amendment a restriction on your arms based on, I don't know, red flag laws or the scale of the weapon? They never did. And people owned cannons and privateers back in the day. You were a regular guy with a farm and you had cannons lining your property. Not that it was super common because they're expensive. You don't need a cannon, but people could have them, and you can have them today.
It's also because of the definition of what is a well-regulated militia. Even though militias were quite narrowly defined back in the day, as far as I remember, like what a militia was like, they had to have access to like a state armory, right? So farmers did not have cannons. Yeah, I don't recall that being a thing. Not what I read about. There are processes for which these extra laws come in. And they are constitutional. So
the idea that everybody just knows how the Constitution is supposed to be followed is silly. All that it matters is the Constitution acts as effectively a mushy barrier, as it would. Let's call the Constitution a non-Newtonian political liquid, in that it is liquid, and if you go slowly, you can move through it. But if you try to force your way through it, it becomes solid. That's what the Constitution is. If Trump came out and said, I am hereby enacting slavery, the Constitution becomes rigid. You can't move against it. But if Donald Trump...
How fucking brain dead is this, bro? Like, the Supreme Court already said that he had, what he did was unlawful when he deported that guy to whatever South American fucking country. Where was it? Fuck. The guy who they thought was MS-13. Trump, deport. Garcia. Kill Marburgo Garcia to El Salvador. Yeah, fuck.
Trump comes out and says, I will challenge birthright citizenship, and he goes slowly through the courts. You, in fact, can move through that barrier. That's all the Constitution does. The amendments exist, but there is precedent on them. We can talk about the First Amendment, and then you get COVID, and they lock you down and say, but it's justified. We can talk about the Second Amendment, but then the NFA pops up, and they say it's justified. So tell me when and where anyone ever followed the Constitution to an absolute mathematical interpretation. It does not exist.
As long as it's not an absolute mathematical interpretation, which you can't do with words, you fucking beanie-brained retard. Like, what? Okay.
The First Amendment. So I don't like the First Amendment. I like free speech.
Okay,
so
the First Amendment is what guarantees free speech. I'm from the UK, by the way. I'm from the UK, which is a democracy. We don't have the First Amendment. No, that's one of the things I do like about the Constitution. I wish the UK did have a First Amendment.
So people
get
arrested for praying outside abortion clinics and stuff like that. Right?
So you're opposed to people being arrested for speech crimes? I assume.
Well, it depends what it is. If it's like the people.
So you're like one of the previous speakers. As long as it's someone who agrees with you, you don't mind.
No, I support.
Either we consistently support principles,
or we
don't.
free speech 100%.
Okay.
I don't think anyone.
So do you think Donald Trump is defying the Constitution by cracking down on the First Amendment?
So I think he's cracking down on free speech, like the deportation of Mahmoud Khalil, who was just
released from prison by a judge saying his First Amendment rights are violated.
And I agree with the judge, and I disagree with Trump deporting them. But I think that's more a matter of free speech and not the Constitution.
Oh, they don't like that, do they? Get this fucker out. Get this disloyal, pro-Constitution, pro-due process fucking cuck out of my building. Get him out. Get him out of our fasci circle. Get him.
I think that's pedantry at this moment. I think you've conceded that he's cracking down on free speech, which is the First Amendment. So he is defying the Constitution. So
get him out.
To be in agreement with you, sir.
All right, pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, dude.
How's you, sir? Mehdi.
Mehdi, great to meet you. My name is Kai. Do you, Mehdi, believe that the Constitution is important and good?
Oh, it's Groiper. Kai, yeah, he's a Groiper. Okay, I remember him. Did I speak to this guy once? I have a feeling I spoke to this guy once. If I recall, God, he was really young. He was like a total. He seems like he's aged relatively quick. I don't know. Apparently, Cenk has a jubilee that he's going to do. Nice one. Yeah, I debate.
I mean, in Brittany, there's this guy in your chat who's saying like, oh, 15 is pedophilia, like big laugh out loud, and 17 with 4 is actually based. I mean, it's like, this is what, like, why is it with these communities that's always like, oh, fucking castrate all the pedophilia, like also 15 is fine, like, Jesus Christ.
Okay. Oh yeah, they were, what were they doing again? They were trying to say someone was a nonce. Who were they calling a nonce? Was it Mr. Girl? Was it when the Groypers went after Mr. Girl? Look at this cast. There's American Nacho. He's a Christian nationalist now. Zonia, Stardust. Brittany, politically provoked Brittany. She used to pretend to be a lefty and pretended she was getting red-pilled by great replacement theorists. Cherry? Standing desk? No, I don't think Kai was here, was he? Did I? I don't think I ever met him. Maybe he was in and out of this one. Huh. There's still a couple of names in this chat who are here today. Leah, HCIC. Huh. Cool. Sprouticus. Hannah thing. Huh. I don't know. Lead vitamin. All right. No, yeah, whatever.
Good.
Overall, yes.
Do you believe that Constitution can be eroded through democratic processes?
What do you mean by erode?
The original intention of the Constitution being destroyed through a purely, democratic or legal process.
I'm not sure I agree with that.
Okay.
I think if you're democratically amending the Constitution per the rules of the Constitution, that's fine. If we could find a constitutional way to get rid of the Second Amendment, I'd be pro that.
So let's pose a hypothetical wherein the entire population of the United States is drastically changed, and the population now has completely different intentions about what to do with the country. Let's say it wants to give it all back to Mexico, dismantling the United States of America. If that's the case, then what's the use of the Constitution? It hasn't defended the country. In fact, it's allowed for its destruction.
I don't understand the premise. How did the whole country change?
Demographic replacement, mass migration. I mean, we're seeing a change in demographics. And there's
what is the? I do want to talk about immigration today.
Everyone talk about it.
Everyone's itching in this group to get to immigration.
Yes,
I've saved it. I've saved it for you all. But given we're on the sense of the Constitution, and you asked the question, what is the proportion of immigrants in this country? What proportion of the population is foreign born?
It's very difficult to measure because the actual projections of the number have been changing more rapidly.
What is currently the best estimate?
I think it was about 15%.
Yes,
yeah,
just under 15%.
Which is, by the way, more actually than the original estimate was. So,
but 15% of the people are going to change the country, change the Constitution. How's that going to It's actually a nightmare. As someone who wants to amend the Constitution and get rid of things like the ridiculous way the Senate is set up, or the Second Amendment on guns, or various other things, it's really hard to change the Constitution. They made it almost impossible. You know, last time we had a constitutional amendment, like 20, 30 years ago.
Which is why
I think members of Congress pay.
Which is why
it was the 70s when they had a constitutional amendment, wasn't it? Wasn't it 75? Or was it 90s? It was 96. Why do I feel like I've got 75 and 96 in my head? 92. Oh, no, that was ratified though. But it was introduced way earlier, wasn't it? It was in the 70s. I think it was introduced.
So where are you getting this scenario where 350 odd million people all become foreign-born migrants or the children of migrants, immediate migrants, even though America is a nation of migrants, and then abandons the Constitution and gives the country back to Mexico? Outside of your imagination, where is that happening?
Let's bring it back to the actual discussion. What you did is you entertained my hypothetical, but then instead of sticking to the point of the Constitution, you said, well, how would you bring about your hypothetical? And then when
you missed out the part where the Constitution is quite hard to change.
Hold on. I understand that. I also
wanted to get a sense of where you are, and you're a great replacement guy. So
okay. Yeah, and you're a real good journalist because you don't talk to people who identify as like a political ideology. I mean, that's
no,
a very
I don't debate fascists. I'll talk to them.
And frankly, that's upsetting. I think there's a big problem when we value freedom of speech so much, but any real journalist is not going to talk
everyone you're debating here is a fascist, Mehdi. I'm sorry, just because one identified as them. Oh God, maybe that last guy wasn't, but the one guy who wasn't a fascist got voted off by his own guys as soon as they realized he wasn't fashy enough for them. The last guy. Oh no! If Mehdi Hasan doesn't debate fascists, why does he debate Zionists? Does he not think Zionists are fascists? I'm not saying that as a gotcha. I genuinely don't know what Mehdi thinks about calling Zionists fascists. Because he debates a lot of Zionists. Some of them are quite right-wing Zionists. I guess has he ever debated like a settler, like a Daniela Weiss person? Huh. It's Kai. It is Kai. Wild.
Somebody because they identify with the politically incorrect ideology.
Just talk to the guy in front of you. What are you talking about?
You literally stop talking to him, and then everybody has to vote
debating versus talking is very different.
Okay.
It's pointless. Right? He doesn't believe in free speech.
Okay.
He doesn't believe in democracy.
He was freely speaking with you. You're the one who shut up.
No, he said very clearly. He said I support free speech so that I can get one election. After one election, my guy comes in, and after my guy comes in, nobody gets to speak or vote again. Why would I debate that?
We listen to your conversation.
Well, I'm reminding you what it said because you just
Let's bring it back to the Constitution.
Please do. First, Fourth, Fifth, 14th Amendments. Those are the ones I'm saying Trump is defying. Do you support that or do you deny them?
I believe that the Constitution is valuable because it represents particular interests of the founding stock of Americans who made this country great.
Do you think due process is important? Some would say that's at the very core of American Constitution. Fifth Amendment.
And what I think makes the Constitution function, what allows it to save this country and to actually make it work, are the people who are...
I'm not sure where you're going with this argument.
Hold on. I'll show you.
Trump defying the Constitution? That's my claim. You can have these weird hypotheticals.
We're taking it into a different manner, which is what's the function of the Constitution?
I'd rather not have your...
You already did.
Yeah, but now I don't
5
want
minutes
to.
ago when you took it to immigration.
Now I don't want to.
Okay, let's bring it back.
I want to bring it back to the First, the Fourth, the Fifth, and the 14th Amendment, and the 22nd Amendment. Either you say... You've got two very good positions here. One is to say, I don't think he's defying them, and I'll say why you're wrong. Or you say, I don't care that he's defying them, as one of your colleagues said, in which case, I don't know where this conversation goes because you don't believe in democracy.
That's fair. Do you think it's wrong to dismantle the Constitution?
So there's two options ahead of you. Do you agree?
This is important.
Do you agree? So is Donald Trump... Okay, let me ask a question back. You're asking me questions. You're not answering the basic point. Do you think Donald Trump is dismantling the Constitution? Can we agree that Donald Trump is dismantling? Because I'll agree with you on that. I think he is dismantling the Constitution.
I think he's
illegally, unconstitutionally.
I think he's interpreting it in ways that are more...
Which judges do not agree with him on.
Okay, hold on.
The Supreme Court has not agreed with him on.
And the judges don't agree with the people who wrote the Constitution.
It's a lot of his picks of the Supreme Court as well. It's a bunch of people that he fucking shoved in there.
How do you know that?
Okay, let's take your example of the Second Amendment. Let's say that a bunch of judges...
I didn't give the Second Amendment.
No,
hold on. Fourth, you don't want to talk about the ones I've given.
You're interrupting me.
You're ignoring me. First, Fourth, Fifth, 14th, 22nd Amendments. Those are my amendments that I came with today. If you don't want to debate them, just say so.
I'm trying to understand your ideology. You believe that dismantling the Constitution is okay when it's about parts of the Constitution that you disagree with. You would be fine getting rid of the Second Amendment, even though that would be a dismantling of the Constitution.
No, because it would be done via constitutional means. I'm not the one sitting here like your pal.
Okay, you've agreed the Constitution...
saying you just get rid of them willy-nilly.
I don't
agree that Joe Biden should come in and say by executive order, if Joe Biden put out executive order saying Second Amendment no longer applies, I can round up everyone's guns. I don't agree with that.
Your result is exactly the same.
I don't agree with them. No, but I don't agree with the method of doing it. It's unconstitutional.
That's fine.
He would have been defying the Constitution, and I would have said so, but you can't bring yourself to say so. We've been sitting here for several minutes. All your friends have seen me ask you several times. Do you agree that Donald Trump is defying the First, Fourth, Fifth, 14th, and possibly 22nd Amendments?
I understand.
He's made a first, fourth, fifth, and 14th. I don't even remember. He's making a big effort to remember all those names, eh?
I understand that you came in here. What you are attempting to do is simply frame this conversation like you did with the first claim about Donald Trump. But then when anybody asks you any kind of question that presses you to the least degree...
No, I answered. I said I would dismantle the Constitution, but I would do it constitutionally, not by executive order.
So what I'm trying to get to is to prove to everybody who's watching that what you care about is not the Constitution and what it represents or creates. You care about the Constitution only insofar as it allows you to achieve your political worldview. We agree on that.
No, I care about the Constitution because I don't think presidents should be fascist dictators and violate the Constitution. That's what I'm saying.
You care.
And he is I don't think the president should have the power to lock you and me up if we write an op-ed that he doesn't like. I don't think the president should be able to crack down on us if you and I decide to go protest outside his parade. I don't think the president should be able to deprive you and I of due process or come into our homes without a warrant. Well, let's under agreement then.
All right, pause. You've been voted out.
I'm glad it's good to meet you.
Get out.
Hey, how are you? I'm Mehdi.
Hi, I'm Jessica.
Nice to meet you.
How are you? So Trump is defying the First, Fourth,
Fifth, and 14th, and maybe the 22nd soon.
Okay. So I want to focus on the First and the Fifth.
Okay.
So you say that Trump is defying the First Amendment. Can you give me an example?
For example, he banned the Associated Press from attending White House events. A Trump-appointed judge said that was against the First Amendment. He's been cracking down on media organizations he doesn't like over their speech. If they say stuff he doesn't like, he, for example...
Cracking down how?
So, for example, he banned the Associated Press from attending White House events because they said it's the Gulf of Mexico. That's not how it works. They were already at the White House. He deprived them of access, so he punished them for their speech.
But are they allowed to go to the press?
Which is why a judge he appointed, Trevor McFadden, said this was...
District Court Judge Trevor McFadden, a Trump appointee, reinstated their access and said banning the outlet violates the First Amendment. I don't know. It really extends to that. So if you give someone White House press access and then defy it, I guess, if you revoke it for arbitrary reasons, they would say it's First Amendment. Huh. Cute.
Charles, thanks for the 6 shekels. Mehdi's letting the founding stock comment slide. Yeah, I don't think Mehdi has had much experience doing the founding stock debates.
Contrary to the First Amendment, a Trump-appointed judge. He's called MSNBC and CNN illegal. Media organizations are not ipso facto
But that's free speech.
illegal.
He can call them whatever they want.
Attacking the media?
Yeah, he
by
can
the president as the executive?
Yeah, he can
And
say whatever he wants. That's literally the First Amendment.
he can say whatever he wants.
Absolutely.
But the media can't say what they want.
They do.
But he's going after them. He's suing them. He's using lawsuits to crack down on the
Is
president.
it viewpoint discrimination? Is that what it is?
Used lawsuits to give him 34 felonies that Hillary Clinton did.
No media gave him a lawsuit.
No, but people
How
on
much
the
about media?
Democratic side.
We don't talk about the Democrats.
Okay. So he can call them whatever he wants because that's a freedom of speech.
He's
he can even
threatened to
discourage-
imprison reporters.
He
He wants to
absolutely.
imprison. He said reporters should go to prison for reporting. He threatened someone with prison rape. Right? That is against the First Amendment.
Okay. How is that against the First Amendment?
You don't think sending reporters to prison for
Is he
reporting that he
sending
does
them?
like
Did he do that?
He wanted to. He said so.
Okay,
I would like them to do that.
I would really like to.
So people,
fly-
other people stopped him doesn't mean he's not
Right,
defying
okay.
the Constitution.
So he
also
can
said if you turn up,
excuse me, he can want to do something.
Yes.
That doesn't mean he will or he can.
Okay.
And I think he's
I've
very.
already
aware
given
of
examples of something he did do to the Associated Press. Okay.
Yeah, okay, so the Associated Press isn't allowed in the Oval Office, which is his office, that's his executive space.
Okay.
And they are allowed in the press room, just like CNN, just like The Guardian.
Which he thinks are illegal media organizations.
He can
He
do
calls
whatever
he
he
calls
wants.
the media the enemies of the people.
You called him a fascist.
Yeah.
you can say whatever you want.
Yes.
Yes.
But the
and
president is. I'm not the president of the United States with executive
so
power
no, okay,
to
so
crack
then
down
the
on
First
media.
Amendment only applies to the citizens, but not the
I never
president
said
of the
that.
United States.
Donald
so
Trump
then
runs his
he
mouth
can
more
say-
than anyone.
Absolutely, he
Yeah.
does.
And he
He
doesn't
is-
just say
is.
stuff. As I said, he actually does stuff. He actually does crack down. For example, Fifth Amendment.
Yes.
Due process.
Yes,
Judges have actually said you have violated due process.
Yes,
of
except
people on trial.
for people kind of forget the Clinton, the 1996 Immigration Reform Act,
Yep.
where you can get limited due process when you have expedited.
American citizens?
No.
What about American citizens?
Who's getting deported?
Pisco agreed with her. The problem with Mehdi here is that he's obviously he's debates a lot of topics and he's on the move, I guess, quite a lot. He's a more practical person, which means he doesn't dive deep into things, which means that he very often just appeals to authority. A Trump-appointed judge said, and it's like, I mean, a Trump-appointed judge can be wrong, right? Like, yeah, it just depends on the argument. And I think if this person seems like she's actually gone fairly a little bit deeper into niche legal debates about due process and substantive due process or limited due process. Yeah, fuck. So I don't know.
American.
2 American children have been deported multiple this year. Have you not been-
No. Their parents have been deported, and their parents say,
No,
I'm
the father
going
was
to take
American.
my baby.
No,
Was mom legal?
We don't know because they didn't go to court, and the judge.
They
by
don't
the
have
way-
to go to
by the way,
court.
Yes,
That's
okay.
not a part of the due process.
Are you a lawyer?
I'm very aware of
Are you a
it.
lawyer?
Do I have to be? We're making an
Are
argument
you a lawyer?
we're making.
It's a simple question.
No.
Are you a lawyer?
Okay, we're making an
I'll
argument.
take that as a no. A Trump-appointed judge in the case, not some Marxist lefty judges you
I
people like to
don't
call them.
He's doing it again. Yeah, Trump-appointed judge. Yeah, Trump-appointed judge said. All the human rights organizations said. Okay, have you read them? Like, do you want to talk about the contents or just say they all said? Bruh.
A Trump-appointed conservative judge said you cannot, it is illegal and unconstitutional to expel or deport an American citizen without meaningful process. He said that in April. So that was an act that Trump
So
did. It wasn't
the
speech.
child-
He got rid of an American citizen from the country without process.
So
That's the Fifth Amendment violation.
Since I'm not up to date on that specific
I'll give you
case,
more.
I'm sure you can. So.
Well, you weren't aware that American citizens are being deported. It's a pretty big story.
Yeah, the
Maybe if you
child
read the
that
fake
probably
news, you might know.
What?
If you read the fake news, you might know what's going on. A lot of American
how would I
citizens
know what's
have
going
been
on if I
deported.
Are you a lawyer, Loner? No, I'm not a lawyer. That's why I have no fucking idea who's winning this debate. It's just, apart from just noticing that Mehdi's doing like appeals to authority here, which are not fallacious in this case because they are lawyers, like they're judges that he's referencing. But if you actually have to contend with someone who disagrees with that interpretation, because lawyers disagree on interpretations all the time, and you actually have to debate who had the better argument, then you're fucked. You're dead. Now, most people don't do that, but this person clearly wants to.
And fake news. I don't watch CNN or Rachel Maddow.
That's,
Sorry.
that's why you don't know that your fellow citizens have been deported this year.
My fellow citizens.
Are they
no.
not American citizens have been deported?
Okay. When a child goes with their.
All right, guys, that's time. Please return to your
Nice to meet
seat.
you.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, before we go any further, we want to take a moment to say thanks so much to Straight Arrow News for powering the fact checks in this video. Straight Arrow News.
Oh, God. Why am I yawning so much today? Fuck. Ads. Crazy. On an unrelated note, chat, there's a new super chat goal. Fulfill the goal. What the fuck? There's a new 10 super chats goal. 10 teal or above super chats. And you'll be supporting me in very wonderful ways. And I will be very happy. Until then, I'm just going to be sleepy and sad. Okay? That's how I work. You have to fuel me. Who is this Mosreg guy in chat? Are they like a scrapper? 10 bowls of cornflakes. Exactly. How else am I supposed to have my 10 bowls of cornflakes?
on a mission to raise the bar on journalism in a time of media bias and mistrust. Straight Arrow News helps you quickly find trusted information you need to understand the news, allowing you to dive deep into the topics that matter to you and the world around you. Their work is trying to break the bias bubble, helping you understand how every side of the political spectrum is reporting on a story so you get a full picture of the news. Wow. That's why we're so happy to be partnering with Straight Arrow News. They deliver the facts, unbiased, the clarity you deserve, and news you can trust. Go to san.com/surrounded or click the link in the description to check it out. By clicking that link, you're not just supporting this channel. You also take advantage of a better way to get the news. Welcome back to Trustworthy Journalism.
Just the guy in your chat being weird. Oh, what if that guy's you, though? That didn't answer my question. Let me see chat history. Chat history. I can do that. Channel activity. Why does it only show it there? Oh. Is LonerBox still pro-Israel? Very much employed. Just asking, haven't been here in months. Is there still a both sides even now when I'm seeing people gunned down every day trying to get aid? That's crazy. The answer to this is yes, there's still a both sides. If Hamas doesn't want to surrender, if they want to keep fighting, there's still a both sides. Yes, they actually have quite a bit of agency. Yes, Arabs are people. Sorry. I was just asking, I don't know his views. I haven't been here in a year. Maybe. How do you assume all that? Busy working as an engineer. Too busy to know his views every day. I mean, you could check my channel, I guess. Zionist talking points are so easy to spot. How's Tel Aviv, by the way? Okay. And you got mad for someone thinking that you wanted to like destroy Israel or some shit. But when you call Zionist as like it's a pejorative, that does actually suggest that you don't like Israel existing, because that's what Zionism's about. But okay. Yeah. Oh, well.
Thanks again to Straight Arrow News for partnering with us on this episode. Now, let's get into it.
My next claim is that immigrants overall are good for America.
Uh-oh.
Hi, how are you?
Hello, nice to meet you,
Mehdi.
Daniela. So in regards to your claim, I just want to start by asking this. Do you care more about helping Americans or immigrants in this claim?
Immigrants are Americans. I'm an immigrant and American.
Well, immigrants are not Americans. Americans are the people that were born here.
That's not true. What's the basis of your claim?
Are you talking about people that get naturalized in the process of becoming American?
14th Amendment. Have you read it?
Okay, yes, I have.
Citizenship clause. It says any persons born or naturalized in the United States are citizens of the United States.
I'm aware of that.
There's about 40 to 50 million naturalized Americans in this country.
Yes, but...
You didn't seem aware of it because you said Americans versus immigrants.
So, but are you understanding that the process of getting all these immigrants that come in here for, even also the millions of immigrants, it's up to the millions, it's the last 20 years now, and it has dramatically affected Americans here in the country, which...
Positively, I would argue.
People like me and everyone around here, we cannot find homes or even get jobs within our own field that we go to college for, that we get into debt for. And because more blue-collar work, especially in construction, agriculture, and so forth, and the hospitality industry, we cannot get jobs in those fields, so it requires us...
Are you looking for a job in construction?
I'm not, no. I went to college. Okay. Many people here are in college or went to college, or we can't even find jobs in our fields, also because of the H-1B visa program as well. But in regards to just your claim about immigrants specifically, we cannot even get jobs to pay for housing.
Unemployment is at a record low right now, even under Donald Trump.
Yeah, what the fuck is the unemployment rate?
Unemployment under both Biden and Trump has been at record low levels.
Okay, is this in regards for American
Remember,
citizens?
I was a child of the recession, okay? I turned 18 and we were like fucking balls deep into a financial recession, the worst one since the Depression. Unemployment was like 12, 13%. It was high. 4.1. Fucking hell. 4.1.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm unaware of that statistic, but from what I see, from what I can
I'm an immigrant and an American, and I employ many American citizens, both naturalized and the ones born here. I employ Americans.
My parents came as immigrants to become naturalized, so I'm not necessarily opposed to immigrants.
So you're the child of immigrants.
Correct. I'm a child of immigrants. I was
But
born
you don't
here.
accept that immigrants are Americans.
Not at this moment.
So your parents are not Americans.
Not at this moment.
Hold
No,
on, your parents
they're
are not Americans.
citizens. They became naturalized.
You just said you can't be citizens by being naturalized.
No, I was born here, and I'm not
Yeah,
opposed
you're born
to
here, right?
naturalization. I
But
never
your
said I'm
parents-
against
Are
naturalization.
you against naturalization?
No, I never said I was against
You did. You
naturalization.
began. Everyone will say they can play back on YouTube. You said
Uh-oh,
Americans
red flag,
or immigrants.
red
Are your
flag.
parents Americans or immigrants?
No, my parents are United States citizens.
But they're immigrants, you said.
No, they came here as immigrants. However, but
So
I
they
want
are
to make the
immigrants.
claim that we
I
can't
came
even...
here as an immigrant. I'm an
But
immigrant.
at this point, when they came, the United
People
States
aren't happy with the way this
economy...
is going for you.
The United States...
I wonder, how do you feel about Jubilee platforming these groypers? I don't give a fuck. Everyone's crazy. Like, everyone's fucking mental. Everyone's retarded. Everyone supports fascism or terrorism. I don't know why. That's just where we are now, okay? If you're not a fascist or a terrorist, you're fucking dead, okay? You're going out. You're cucked. Let them do it. Let them Molotov-Ribbentrop for now on hating Democrats, okay? And then they can fight a fucking bloody war with each other for the next 5 years. And then some good old liberalism / social democracy can stand atop the ashes and rebuild afterwards. We can do that, yeah? Is that okay? Fine?
economy was not at...
It's better now. The American economy is better than it's been for many years. And I can say that as somebody who doesn't like Donald Trump.
We're giving millions and billions of dollars to people of minorities as well as...
The reason the economy is doing badly now is Donald Trump's tariff policy. Nothing to do with migrants. In fact, the congressional...
start businesses.
I'm an immigrant. I started a business.
No, I understand because the SBA is giving people billions of loans. They're giving them billions.
I didn't take any loans.
I'm not saying you did, but I'm saying that statistically speaking, they're giving billions of loans.
So should we do statistics? According to statistics, immigrants are 80% more likely to be entrepreneurs than native-born Americans. They're more likely to start businesses and hire Americans.
No, I'm aware of that.
Immigrants are more likely to pay in taxes than take out in benefits. They're more likely to add to innovation and jobs and wages. This is what the statistics show. The Congressional Budget Office.
Oh, no.
Let me finish my point and let you come back in.
Okay,
The Congressional Budget Office, which is bipartisan, Republicans and Democrats both use it. They have said that the immigration surge that you mentioned will lead to an extra $9 trillion of GDP over the next 10 years. That amounts to $65,000 per American household. That's $65,000 for each and every one of you holding up a red flag.
Okay, I understand.
All right,
that,
pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your
Nice to
seat.
meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Hey, how's it going, Mehdi? What's going on, man? Nice to meet you. All right, so first.
Snapback. Oh yeah. Wait, UK unemployment. Oh, let's see what it was. Just to double check what it exactly was. UK unemployment rate. What was it? Okay, here. This is I turned 18 around like here. Okay. And unemployment, it wasn't 12, it was like 7, then 8, and then yeah. And then it starts coming down after 2013. It was hard times. That was hard times over here. I think youth unemployment was probably higher. Oh, bro, 22%. This is just when I finishing uni. We were scum of the earth, man. Look at us. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
Before I start, I need to know what you mean by good. I can talk about the economy, I can talk about culture, I can talk about all those things. I need to know what you mean.
All of them. I'm saying immigrants are good for the economy. They're good for culture. They're good for society. Where's the lower wages?
What do you mean, where's the lower wages?
Where's the lower wages?
Yeah, so you can
What's
look
the
at
basis for saying no lower wages?
Sure, so you can look at like the STEM industry. It's been in like a complete and total recession. There's been tons of studies like from the Economic Policy Institute that shows that like companies like Tesla, companies from Silicon Valley, they engaged in mass firing of workers, around 35,000, but then they hired around 12,000 H-1B visas. And it's kind of just standard economic thinking.
It's not standard economic thinking. The vast majority of economists and economic studies suggest that there is a negligible, if no impact on wages over time.
That's not
immigrants. In fact, your colleague mentioned earlier, construction, there is actually evidence in construction, yes. But in some industries, in some areas, there is an impact. But overall, no. In fact, a study from the National Bureau of Economic Research found that migrants since 1965 have raised wages and raised innovation.
Who's that by?
National Bureau of Economic Research.
No, hold on. That's where you publish studies.
Yes, I didn't memorize the names of the authors.
Yeah, I know you didn't.
Can you give me the authors you've got?
Yeah, hold on. The study you're talking about is from Giovanni Perry, and what he did is he didn't account for aggregation issues, nor did he.
The vast majority of studies.
Let me speak, please. Yeah, thank you, right? So listen, he didn't account for aggregation issues, right? And when you look at like the spatial approaches that all these economists use, you're not accounting for the fact that when immigrants come into an area, natives leave. If you look at an occupational approach where you look at the specific firms that immigration is going into, like Kim, ETAL 2013 did, you find a net negative impact when there's a 10% increase of immigration. You find around a 0.5% decline in wages when it comes to the specific occupations they're going to.
So
all your studies are flawed.
So 0.5%, weigh that up against what I just mentioned from the Congressional Budget Office, which is a massive boost in GDP per head, which you're not counting for, massive increase in tax revenue, immigrants actually funding the deficits and debts by paying way more in taxes proportionately, including undocumented immigrants. And what's interesting about wages is, I'm in a room full of, I don't know what to call you anymore, conservatives, Republicans, fascists, I don't know. One of you has probably said that. One of us is proud. Oh yeah, correct. I'm in a room full of correct people, but do any of you actually care about wages? Because,
yeah, I actually do,
For example,
right?
do you support raising the minimum wage?
Absolutely, and you can't do that when you bring all these people coming into
That's not the reason the Republican Party blocks the minimum wage. You think Republican politicians don't vote for an increase in minimum wage because they're worried about immigration.
Did I say about Republicans? Did I say about Republicans?
Well, I'm in a show that was called 25 far-right Republicans.
That doesn't mean I'm going to support every single Republican candidate.
So you and I, let's agree. We both support raising the minimum wage.
They didn't ask if you support every Republican candidate as whether or not you were a Republican, because it was for Republic. Fuck me. This is Groypers. These are all the Groypers infiltrate. I don't know how they did it. Maybe there's a Jubilee recruitment officer who's a Groyper, or they just, I guess they knew. They knew what to say to get attention. Do again, thanks for $5. I vacillate between apathy and despair. These conversations have put me firmly into despair mode. Bro, I'm just going to become a gamer, okay? I've got my Warcraft character, okay? The hardcore servers are dead, okay? But I've got level 60 on the normal servers. I can just farm. I can just farm and watch this in the corner and at least get some fucking dopamine hits as I'm watching this shit. It's not like I need my brain for this. I need to concentrate. I just have to sit here and oh, God.
$7.25 since 2009. It's lost 30% of its value. If you care about wages, we should be raising the minimum wage in this country, not scapegoating migrants who aren't the cause of low wages in the country. You know who's causing low wages? Billionaires, millionaires, people who won't pay fair wages to their wages, regardless of whether you are an immigrant or a native.
I get the monologue, right? Now let me respond.
You had one. You had one. You had one study that had 0.5% impact.
Yeah, and your study sucked that you didn't even know who wrote it, right? So let's get back to the point, right?
Because I don't need to one study. The majority of studies say that wages are not impacted by
migration. The majority of your studies are flawed. That's what I'm telling you.
My studies. Neither of us are economists. It's the economist studies.
Don't assume who I am.
Are you an economist?
I could be.
But are you?
I could be.
Are you?
I'm not going to tell you.
Are you?
I'm a major in economics,
Are you an economist?
No, not right now.
Okay, so when I said neither of us economists, I was correct.
Just don't assume.
To use your favorite word.
See here, dude, this is nothing of substance. You look at the red flags; they're coming up. Let me get to the
great.
point.
But
so when you talk about the CBO, one thing you're not accounting for here is that they're assuming an equilibrium, right? You know what that means? You shouldn't make these type of assumptions. You said earlier that unemployment.
Do I know what it means? I thought we were doing assumptions.
Okay, hold on. You mentioned we were like at 4.2% unemployment. Yeah, that's counting people who have part-time jobs. That's counting poverty wages.
Yeah, I'm against poverty wages.
You won't let me
again.
Yes, if you go to like the Logood Institute, they calculate it away where it's like functional unemployment. Okay, if you account for things like just people who make around $25,000 a year, people who have fallen out of the labor market, people who only work part-time, if you count all of those people together and then add on the unemployment, that's around 25%
25% of the population. So when you go, we don't have jobs, we don't have people to do this, and that, and the other. No, yes, we do. Okay, we don't have a labor shortage. We have a good job shortage. And when you keep bringing these people in, and they're taking those jobs.
The good job shortage is the fault of big firms, employers. I'm an employer. I can say that.
Who hires the immigrants?
Who hires the immigrants?
Yeah.
Employers.
Exactly. So when you bring up these big firms,
okay, so
that's the way that
you
you understand that, right?
So let me ask you a question. If you got rid of all immigrants coming in tomorrow, moratorium, you think that Republicans and employers of big firms suddenly raise all the way?
That's what you believe. What I said.
That's what you believe.
You need to watch the Hutch debate yesterday. Which one? The one with Ogre Boy. I did watch that one yesterday. Is there another Hutch debate? Who's he debating?
That's what you believe.
Pivoted the
That's
hell
what
away
you
from
believe. Is that what you? I'm on the subject.
Okay.
Do you believe that wages? I'm just wondering how naive you are. You believe that the 1% will raise wages in the federal wage if we stop immigration?
They will be forced to. When you increase labor's relationship to capital, okay, and you give labor more bargaining power because you're tightening the supply of labor.
Understanding of economics because
okay, explain I'm wrong.
I'm telling you how you're wrong. Because you're ignoring the fact that when immigrants come into an area, they spend money. They create jobs.
About 1/5 of their monthly income.
That's a good thing also because you don't like USA foreign aid. So this is the point. They create jobs.
There was History Speaks. Yeah, I'm not watching that one. Fucking hell. Although apparently I get mentioned many times because I'm just a very relevant figure to the Israel-Palestine conflict, you know? Netanyahu, Sinwar, Yoav Gallant, LonerBox. That dastardly H3 are doing a show on the Netanyahu interview. Okay.
Country. So far, every one of my assumptions about you has been correct. But listen to me. I am an immigrant. I'm speaking from personal experience. I don't even like. I should get the hell out.
Yes.
Why?
I don't want you here.
Why?
Because you come here and say all this bullshit about how Americans are lazy. You push your left wing politics.
I never said Americans are
lazy. I don't know why you say this.
I never said Americans
are
lazy.
Yes, you are. You're saying immigrants have to come into this country so they can do jobs that we don't want to do.
I never said those words. When did I say it?
Really?
When did I say it? It's on YouTube. Guys watching on YouTube, rewind to the time where I said immigrants are doing jobs we don't want to do. When did I say those words? When did I came out my mouth?
Okay, so why do we have to bring in immigrants to the country if we have people who are going to do the jobs?
Pause. You've been voted out.
Nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you. Nice talking to you. You're going to have to go.
He repeated the lie about you thinking Israel never cut off aid. Yeah, because he's a fucking liar. He's a dishonest fucking whale cunt. Yeah, that's what he is. Yeah, sorry.
Bro is what he said as I left to an American citizen. Good to know.
Whatever. He deserves to just scream in the void forever. That's where he is. Good.
Where you stand on immigration. It's not about immigration, is it? That's what it's not about. Hey, how you doing?
Nice to meet you.
Good to see you. How are you?
Not bad. So, what type of immigrants are we talking about?
What do you mean?
Like any immigrants or
immigrants? That's why I said immigrants.
Illegal immigrants.
Undocumented immigrants also contribute greatly to the US. I say undocumented, other people are illegal.
So, let's put it this way. I mean, I'm an immigrant too, from Iran.
Okay.
There isn't even
a US. How do you feel about the fact that people here want you out? Are you okay with that?
I'm here to debate you, not debate them.
I mean, you're all on the same side. You're part of one group.
He looks like Is LonerBox Lebanese? Hell yeah. He looks like in wrestling when they made. He looks like a parody of an Iranian. Like, you know, like when this guy was supposed to be Iranian, wasn't he? He looks like in wrestling when they decided they needed a villain, and because foreign policy was a bit wacky back then. I think it was like the Iran-Contra affair or whatever. They were like, okay, let's just make the villain Iranian.
And my distinguished
That's how we make people hate him.
guest from the Middle East, he's from Persia, from Iran. He is Sheikh Al-Hani, Khosrow Vasari, the Iron Sheik. Anybody that knows wrestling knows that it's synonymous with the...
Why is he wearing this if he's a fucking Iranian? Iranians don't wear this, do they? This is like a... Wait, do they? I don't think this is a Persian thing, is it? Do they wear this? I don't actually know, but...
Iron Sheik. Welcome back to the beautiful...
Of course he wasn't Iranian. And Roddy Piper, the Scotsman, he wasn't Scottish, he was American.
South Florida area here in Miami.
I never questioned
Thank you very much, Jin Min, intelligent American, intelligent Miami City, all American wrestling city. People like you always tell the Min Sheik, welcome to the Miami. Now, all of a sudden, young punk American come to the WWF, toughest, roughest area in the world, and he beat bunch of American, and he make a name for himself. You know who I'm talking about,
I know
right?
exactly.
Exactly. Now, Miami, all intelligent American, Italian, my Banzan, Iranian, all Jewish people, intelligent Jew like yourself, they know about the Aron
Not
Sheik.
yourself.
They know who's the Aron Sheik. They have the from John F. Kennedy Airport to the Los Angeles, California, they know who's the Aron Sheik. Now, Corporal Kirchner.
Corporal Kirchner.
Forever. Last time you was lucky that blonde was your partner.
Danny Spivey.
Exactly. This time just...
Wait, was this guy actually American or Iranian? He was, okay. Huh.
You and I.
Precise.
Well, I know Roddy Piper, he wasn't Scottish, okay.
nicely.
Exactly. You better get ready because she's born ready. Cameraman, zoom.
Zoom it. Thank you. Miami's Night Center, Monday, April 28th.
Based.
You mean clapping each other?
No, I mean, there are conservatives here, there are far-right people here, there are Republicans
But how do
here.
you feel about that guy wanting me and you to leave?
But, you know, let's
I'm just wondering. Wait, this is the topic of immigration.
It's
How
not,
do you
about
feel
my,
about the
it's
guy?
not about my feelings towards them.
Okay.
It's about staying on this topic.
Okay.
And
Immigrants are
talk
good for America, yeah. You and me, we're good for America. And the guy over there wants us to leave. So I'm just wondering how you feel about that.
So I believe that there has to be strict immigration laws.
Okay.
We have to make sure that the people who are coming here have the good intent of the United States in mind.
That's not my claim, but okay.
So
my claim is about immigrants are net positive.
If you just open our borders to every single person
No one
that wants to
calls
be
for
here,
open
you know, that claims that they have economical hardship in their country.
Who's calling for open borders?
I'm just saying, you know.
Oh, you're just a straw man, so you're just saying a straw man.
No, I'm saying
You're wasting time on a straw man. No one's calling for open borders.
Well, you wasted
I said
time.
immigrants who-
You wasted time trying to cause division between me and my
Division.
friend.
He wants you to leave the country. That's a pretty big deal. I mean, you can ignore it, but that's your side, my friend.
Like I said,
You
you were
made
the
your
one
bet.
that tried to derail this argument
Derail?
by bringing that.
It's
Even
to
though we're
support my
trying to-
argument. I'm saying immigrants are good to America. People on
And-
your
and
side
I
are
asked
saying
you, what
we
type
should
of-
leave. Not me.
And
me and
I
you.
asked you, what type
Yes, thanks for 20 Swedish. Really appreciate that. Good night. Yeah, sleep well.
of immigrants are we talking about? Are we
Immigrants
talking about
overall. Overall.
So,
I mean, what about,
so
you
you
want me
believe
to get into like particular communities? I'm not playing that
so
game.
you believe that people that come here without
Overall,
any
help the
respect,
society.
without any respect to our laws and our border, you know, are going to be good for this country?
No, of course not.
So you can't say that all immigrants
I
overall.
never said all immigrants. I
Well,
said
you
immigrants overall. Immigrants overall doesn't mean all immigrants. Sorry to break that to you.
All right, so we have to make sure that the people who are coming here have the good intent of this country in mind. Agreed?
Yes.
All right,
Irrelevant
good.
to my claim,
But then
agreed.
you have undocumented immigration going on.
Yeah.
You can't vet that. You can't make sure about that. Let me real quick, you know, talk about my background. There's no American embassy in Iran. So in order to come here, you have to stay in line for 4 years, and you have to go through some serious vetting procedure to get here. But I made it, and that process has to be in place because I mean you don't want terrorists
But
to fill this
I
country.
made it too. I'm an American citizen. I went through lots of vetting. I took my test.
And that's how
the guy
it
over
should
there
be.
wants us to leave.
But
To be fair, Iran is like an adversary of the United States, so they probably are going to be a bit more stringent. Yeah.
But he wants us to leave.
When people
don't really care about vetting, do they? It's not really about vetting, is it, my
But
friend?
people should not have
You're in
the
denial.
right. People should not have the right to ignore our borders and our laws.
What about those
to
of us who
come
don't
here.
ignore the borders? Should we get to stay?
Of course.
But he says we shouldn't.
Well, I'm not debating him.
You kind of are because you're all together on this.
No, I'm debating you.
Okay. And I'm pointing out to you that your argument is in bad faith because these guys are actually speaking the truth and you're in denial about who's on your side. He wants you gone.
I never claimed that I'm on their side or they're on my side. I'm here to debate you.
All right, pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please
Thank
return
you,
to your
Nick.
seat.
Nice to meet you. Hey, how you doing? I'm Mehdi. Nice to meet you.
The question is, immigration is good for America, right?
Overall, if you look at the net positives to things like our society, our culture, our food, our economy, our general diversity, I know the D word is a bad word in places like this. I think immigrants have been a net positive. I think if you look at your everyday lives, we all benefit from immigration.
And what kind of conservatives disagree with that?
Some of the guys who told me to leave this place and go back to not a citizen.
Do you think all conservatives?
No. No, in fact, Ronald Reagan, who's a president I wasn't a big fan of until Donald Trump came
Hey,
on. Now
the
people
Ronald
are saying he's
Reagan.
good in comparison.
Anyone
Reagan
can be
said in
an
1986 our country is a nation of immigrants. Our immigrant
Melting
heritage is our
pot.
strength.
Let's
He
go.
gave an amnesty to 3 million undocumented migrants. He understood the value of immigration. So I'm with Reagan. Although this guy,
Amnesty. Oh, I need a soundboard for this. This can go on the soundboard.
If Ted doesn't win, your Second Amendment's going to be in trouble. Big trouble. Remember that.
Remember that.
O'Rourke voted against the border wall. Oh, that's a good thing to him. He voted against Kate's law, and he voted for Obama amnesty. Amnesty. Obama amnesty.
Amnesty.
he's putting his thumb down there. So
I'm
Reagan's not
Reagan.
popular in right-wing crowds these days.
Yeah. Well, he's popular with me.
Good too.
I'm a deferred action of childhood arrivals. I was an illegal immigrant myself. I came here when I was 10. I'm what you would call a legal alien now. I didn't have any say on my parents' choices.
Yes.
Do I think that they were well-meaning by wanting to bring me over for a better future? Absolutely. I believe that.
Yeah.
Did they break the law? Yes. Do I agree with people breaking the law? Not necessarily. Do I think that there's ever a situation where you can break the law for the better or the greater good? Immigration is it's an interesting issue because I do agree with you that
Good to hear.
everyone is an immigrant in the sense like. Can you tell me a little bit more about your journey?
I've been here 10 years. I'm a proud American citizen. I'm a dual national. I'm British. I'm American. And I am an immigrant who's contributing to this country. So, yes, I'm very much proud of America's immigrant heritage. I'm part of it. And despite what one of the other people said on the show earlier, everyone here, unless you're Native American,
All right,
is a descendant of
pause.
immigrants.
Sorry, you've been voted out. Please return to your seat.
Thank you, man.
Nice to meet you.
We haven't even got to the Gaza bit.
Hey, how's it going?
Actually, a fan. I see you a lot on Piers Morgan.
Okay, thank you for watching.
Yeah. So my argument is that Americans are what is a nation? A nation is a geographical location full of people who have some things in common. So I think some of the things typically in history are going to be like race, religion, ethnicity, language. These are some of the things that we have to have in common in order to actually have a functioning civilization, especially in self-government. I'm not necessarily a giant fan of self-government. I'm a Catholic nationalist. I'm not a fascist. You have to have at least some things in common in order to actually have a civilization.
Catholic
and immigrants,
national- why-
especially illegal immigrants, that come to
How did they do this?
this country now,
disrespect us. They hate everything that we believe. They don't even speak our language. I watched, after Trump got elected, I watched an interview of an illegal alien woman crying and about getting deported, and the entire interview was in Spanish. That is a spit in the face. It's disrespect. They don't care about us. They abuse our system.
So you've gone from a teleological argument into just a bunch of series of wild, unsubstantiated claims. I don't accept any of those claims. They hate everything we stand for, and I don't accept. Well, I'm not going to deal with the teleology. I'm going to deal with the false claims that you made. There's no. What's your basis for saying that all immigrants or all undocumented immigrants hate everything we stand for? It's funny that you said you're Catholic nationalists. How did most Catholics get to America? Irish Catholics, Italian Catholics, immigration. Much of the people coming across the southern border are Catholics. Yeah, I know. I don't. So it's really funny that you say you're a Catholic nationalist, but Catholics came to America via immigration.
Yeah. So
immigration is good for America. You and I can agree. Otherwise, people of your faith wouldn't be here.
No. Well, we were here on this side of the world, in this continent, from conquest. We came over here.
But the big surges of numbers, as you well know, because you're a smart guy.
You know, Catholics. I think generally Catholics are in America because of immigration, not conquest.
Italian, Irish immigration waves, Catholic immigration waves.
Okay, yeah, and I'm not even
claiming.
Those? I'm not even
claiming. Against those? If you were alive,
I'm not even claiming that
a lot of
immigration
people
is
against
bad.
those.
I'm not claiming immigration is bad in all cases at all times.
What is your claim?
My claim is that immigration, especially now, and especially for foreign people that have nothing in common with us,
it's funny you say especially now.
Thing.
I forgot your name. My apologies. Brian.
Yeah, how many
in every era there has been a Brian who says, "I'm not against immigration, just immigration now." Okay. This is what people said about Italians. This is what people said about Irish folks. Said about Russians, Poles, and now we're saying about people coming across the southern border. Because you're not being you're being a little disingenuous. Saying I'm only against immigrants now. This is a trope. This is a trope that's been used by nativists throughout American history, and every wave of immigrants has come in and faced the same hate and animus and bigotry and lazy trope, and every wave of immigration is ultimately assimilated, integrated, benefited the country. In fact, assimilation right now, according to Jacob Victor from the University of Washington, assimilation rates based on language and citizenship and naturalization are higher now than 100 years ago.
Okay, let me make a statement first. I think that you in your own person are a complete perfect example of why immigration is negative and why we shouldn't allow people who don't have anything in common with us. You're pro-abortion, you're pro-euthanasia, you're pro.
I'm pro-euthanasia.
Yeah, I've seen your stuff. You've defended euthanasia.
Pro-euthanasia.
Yeah, on Piers Morgan.
No, I've never discussed euthanasia with Piers Morgan in my life.
Okay, so my point is that you don't agree.
Actually,
with
I'm the guy
here.
If anyone watching at home, I'm the only guy here who actually supports American values, democracy, free speech, the Constitution. I've got folks here telling me they don't believe in democracy, but they're nationalists.
Wait, why should we care about that, by the way?
Isn't that what America stands for? What does America stand for? So you hate what America stands for, not me.
I'm not even
and in fact, all the studies show that immigrants actually are more patriotic than native-born Americans.
The only reason why, that's the Mexicans in LA right now burning it down, waving Mexican flags.
LA's being burned down?
Please don't send us back to the country that we're waving the flag of.
I've been in LA for a few days. I didn't see anything burned down.
Yeah, I know the riots have ended. That's because Trump sent.
But if it's burned down, where's it all burned down? I haven't seen it. I've traveled around all of LA. You said LA was burned down.
They were also being dealt with and like fairly managed before any of the National Guard people came in. So
yeah,
500 square miles. It's not a figure of speech. It's another false claim.
They're burning.
I support euthanasia. LA's burned to the ground. Immigrants take what we stand for.
Okay, so
I'm super relaxed.
So you're pro-abortion.
But you're just saying one false thing after another.
So you're pro-abortion.
And I'm standing by my position. Immigrants are good for me.
You're pro-abortion. You're an immigrant.
I'm pro Roe v. Wade. Personally, I'm not pro-abortion. If you knew anything about me, you know.
Roe v. Wade is.
All right, pause. You've been voted out.
I was going to say nice to meet you, Brian, but I guess not.
He's mad.
You made it.
Great to see you. My name is Cyrus.
Nice to meet you, Cyrus.
I am also son of 2 immigrants, came in legally. I'm also Persian descent, born in LA.
Fantastic.
Yes. Yes. Well, I am mainly upset, not at the immigrants, legal or not. I'm mainly upset at Wall Street. I'm mainly upset at the elites, the special interests. They are the main reason why we've been having this issue.
Barbas, that's the $5. It's still so surreal that the top groiper is a gay Latina soy boy, neo-Nazi Catholic larper. Yes. He's also a Jewish comedian.
Since 1965. And I understand most want to do well. There are a few bad apples, we can agree. Okay. But we want to go after the elites. They are the main cause of the problem.
Love it.
And just like healthcare, trade, everything.
Did you know, Cyrus, that the top 1% dodge $163 billion in taxes every year, while undocumented people pay $100 billion in tax? So well, I know where my anger is against.
There are issues with our tax system on the rich, but in a state like California, some taxes are too high. I used to live here, now I live in Las Vegas.
Different debate.
Okay,
I'm saying immigration is good for
America. Depends on the
people
tax.
Like you and me overall are good for America as well.
Okay, but it depends on how it's done.
Yes.
It depends on how it's done.
How it's been done
so
for the US.
I'm not blaming the housing crisis on immigrants, not on wages, but in a state like California that doesn't build enough homes and they're bringing immigrants in, you have to increase supply of housing. Okay, but this is where our anger is at the political class. The Democrat Party used to have a different stance on immigration 15 years ago. Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton.
I'm not a fan of that. I'm not here to defend different Democrats. What I will say is
that's our anger.
What I will say is that everyone here actually does think immigration is good for America. Everyone here uses an iPhone designed by an immigrant, is on Gmail designed by an immigrant, is on a YouTube show.
But
this all came to a YouTube show founded by an immigrant. You wouldn't be here.
But that's a tiny minority.
So you all love immigrants, whether you like it or not.
Okay, but it is a taboo subject. Should we be concerned about the demographics? So
no.
Anglo-Saxon, European Americans, 0% of America, it doesn't matter.
Are they 0% of America?
Well, let's say if it becomes 0%, it should not work.
They're not going. Why are you bringing weird hypotheticals?
But there has to. I mean, they're still part of our country. There's culture. There's. I mean, even Britain. Like, it concerns me. But it concerns me when Britain is changing, and it's it's like losing their culture. But it's losing their culture. Are they? Are they going to try to?
I'm from the UK. I'm telling you, no one's losing their culture.
London is going to be very little British in one day. What's the plan? That's what we want to know. What's the plan?
You just made that up. Have you been to London?
How do we know?
Cyrus, have you been to London?
London's going to be very little, bro. Fucking hell. Even when you look at a lot of the Indian, like other immigrants in London, like they are so like they have the strongest fucking English accents. They got like the English like British mannerisms. they especially the Indian immigrants, because they do this whole thing where they try to show how fucking British they are by performatively like loving the Queen in football and shit. Like Britishness in London's not going away anytime soon. Chill.
No.
So then maybe you shouldn't come in places you don't know anything about.
But what's the plan?
I grew up in London.
What's
London's
the
a very
general
British
plan?
city. I was in London a few weeks ago.
Okay.
It's a very
Plan.
British
It's
city.
the Kalergi plan. That's what it is, isn't it? Great replacement. Let's go.
I understand that there are people in this audience that don't like me or you in this country, and I respect that. There's some that don't even want me to date a blonde woman. They want to keep to their own, or ginger or whatever. I respect that. But
what is Fuentes saying about Trump these days?
We need hundreds of Republicans to lose in this next cycle. You don't want our support now?
Yeah.
Then fine. You don't get it. And let the Democrats impeach Trump. Let them impeach Trump. Let them fuck up this administration and torch his legacy. What a joke. And you know something? For all of the waving the bloody shirt of Trump, constantly talking about the things he's been through, he's the biggest victim. How many of his supporters went to jail on his behalf after January 6th? Did Trump do anything for them? Did he raise money?
I thought Trump didn't incite it, though. I thought that was the whole, oh no. They just went of their own accord.
For them? Did he talk about them, defend them? No. Many of them he didn't even fully pardon. He just commuted their sentence. How about all of the people that lost their jobs due to the vaccine that he created? How about all of the people that lost their jobs or got canceled supporting him in the first election that got beat up or killed? How many people got killed or had their businesses destroyed during the BLM riots because Sean Hannity was telling him it would be good for his reelection if BLM did their worst in all the major cities?
Ooh.
It's not just him. We've all been in the fight for 10 years. We've all had our share of the suffering in one way or another. With our families, with our jobs, with our colleges, with social media, with our businesses, with the government. How many people have caught charges and for one reason or another, or had other issues? And now he says, if you're not on board with the Epstein cover-up, oh, I don't want your support. You're a weakling. Fuck you. Fuck you. You suck. You are fat. You are a joke. You are stupid. You are not funny. You are not as smart as you think you are.
You are fat. Yes, you are.
There has to be a deal made. There's Idaho, there's Montana. They can go live in a homogeneous society. I don't believe in force, okay? And I believe that there has to be a deal made. And I think
Charles, thank you for the super chat. Britain hasn't been Anglo-Saxon for centuries. By the time North America was colonized, not after the Vikings and Normans invaded. Okay.
There's upsides and downsides to diversity.
There's a deal made. People have elections. They vote for elections. And right now, there's Donald Trump in the White House. Not someone I support, but people voted for him.
Well, why did he get in mainly? Because we had 2016, 2016, Bernie Sanders. Okay.
Part of the reason he got in is that people in this room want people like me and you to leave, and they voted for him to try and make that.
I'm not surprised. One of the Charlottesville marchers doesn't like me, and I've met those people, and I respect their views.
You really shouldn't.
Well, they're wants.
Don't respect racists and fascists is my advice to you.
Well, they have their preferences. You know, that's just we can't.
They do have their preferences.
Why try to come into
They're getting around that.
All right, that's time. Please return to your seat.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Great pleasure.
Good. My final claim is that Donald Trump's plan for Gaza is ethnic cleansing.
Ooh, wait, I want to do this another day. That's a whole separate thing. We've taken way too long. This is like 30 minutes left. Fuck that. We need to move on. We have to do other things. We'll return to this tomorrow. You really shouldn't. Apparently it's really distressing. I don't know why my fucking eye keeps switching. Is that like, I think whenever I sleep badly, one of my eyes like twitches every now and then. Or there's just something in it. I don't know. Getting old, dying slowly.